It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, all that good stuff. So that's definitely a show for you. Stick around because we have a whole lot of tea to spill today. But before we get to the tea that I'm going to give y'all the rundown for, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way, you know, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll definitely be putting in timestamps and stuff during the end of the show so that way you can follow along with all that good stuff. And so yeah, we got a lot of tea to spill. So we're gonna be talking about Scream 7. The other day we talked about how one of the writers spoke out about Scream. Now the director, Kevin Williamson, is speaking out about Scream and everything going on with that. I guess they got them out here trying to do damage control because they still a little worried that y'all not gonna go see the movie. So we have that tea that we're gonna be spilling. Plus, Keanu Reeves is apparently unhappy with the Constantine 2 script. It's been far too long since we've gotten a movie from them. So hopefully we'll be getting something like that soon. Ryan Coogler says that he never considered making a Sinner sequel, although there are rumors swirling that there is a Sinner sequel in the works. So we'll break that down. We have to talk about this big milestone from Miss Swift, honey, because Taylor Swift done bought back the rights to her first 6 albums. So we got to talk about that. And plus how Alyssa Farrah Griffin threatened to go out and windmill on, what the hell is his name? That queen, Ben Shapiro, because apparently he tried to make a little ageist comment towards Tay Tay. And I'm sitting there like, sir, you are a couple of years older than her. So if you're going to call her a senior, what the hell are you? So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about that the fans are concerned about Justin Bieber because apparently he was hired in Cooter Brown while he was playing with his little son, Jack, and had the fans a little, you know, up in arms. Plus, we got to talk about this debate. So there's a situation going on, but I want to talk about it in general because with concerts and things of that nature. So people was mad at Selena Gomez because apparently she was watching the Knicks Pacers playoff game while she was supposed to be watching the Cowboy Carter tour over in New Jersey, and people was mad over it. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Cardi B is out here throwing, child, she went in on Offset, his scrub behind, because he out here trying to get you know, spousal support and things of that nature. Because, you know, apparently, well, we all know she the breadwinner. So she went in and spilled all his tea and everything. So we're going to talk about that. And normally, you know, I will be like, Cardi, keep it off the internet. But you want to know something? This is warranted. So I'm with her. You know, I'm behind on this. Plus, Leah McSweeney is accusing Andy Cohen of being a bully and using other housewives to go after her on social media and the press. Ariana Biermann says she has not been close to Kroy since her mother and him split, Kim Zolciak. So we'll talk about that. Petti LuPone done did something no Sicilian woman in the history of me being alive has ever done. She issued an apology. So we'll talk about that to Keisha Williams. See, I keep doing it. It's Keisha Lewis, Keisha Williams. I used to work with her over VH1. Keisha Lewis and Audra McDonald. So we got to talk about that. Plus, child, we have to get into this All Stars 10 episode that just passed. I told you once Mistress and them came on the show, it was going to be a mess. And now it's worth talking. The show is worth talking about now. So we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to give my overall opinion. Plus, Pedro Pascal, Ariana Grande, Serena Carpenter, Daniel Radcliffe, Dula Pete, and 100 others sign an open letter supporting federal funding for LGBTQ plus youth suicide prevention because the Trevor Project is in danger of being defunded by a lot of money. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So yeah, that's all the topics we got for now. So if there's any breaking news that comes out, y'all know what to do. Let me hit my banner. And so without further ado, let's get into our first topic. And let's talk about Kevin Williamson, who was out here spilling tea about Scream. So y'all already know the other day I did a video, it's up on the socials, regarding Guy Busick, one of the writers who came and was speaking out about Scream 7 and was giving, you know, a little behind the scenes tea without revealing too much, which I'm actually glad about because I hate when y'all be out here doing spoilers. So he was out here spilling tea and all this other stuff. And now we're getting news from Kevin Williamson himself because we haven't heard from him since they started filming. And yeah, so he is. I was like, what the hell happened with the light? Did the light go out? Oh. I don't know, I freaked out for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought the power went out for a second and I was out here just freaking. But anyway, we're gonna continue because it looks like my stuff is still working. I was like, wait a minute, did a power surge happen? But anyway, so um y'all know we're supposed to be saying, well, I guess in a few months, they said audience will be saying hello, Sidney. But when I heard that line, I'm like, wait a minute. So does that mean y'all all moving the time and all this other stuff? Because I've been giving y'all my whole point of I would prefer if they would move it up and then we get Scream 8 during the 30th anniversary. But anyway, so with all that being said, Kevin has opened up about working with Neve on Scream 7. And Williamson wrote the original Scream back in 96. And he never directed a film of the Scream franchise. The only movie he did was Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which was originally Killing Mrs. Tingle. And because of the whole Columbine and everything, they had to make a lot of changes to that movie, which I think is why the movie wasn't as good as it initially was supposed to be because of what was going on at the time. So now, he's actually opening up and stuff and said that the reason why he came back is because of the story. He said, quote, the company pitched it to me because they said this is going to be about Sidney Prescott. It needs to be about Sidney. That's why I want to do it. This is what he said during a career retrospective on Friday at the ATX TV Festival presented by Universal Studio Group. And then he went on to say, quote, I do think there is a world we haven't tapped into. We're never gone home with her, who she is today, and we don't know what her life is about. I want to know those things. He then reflected a bit on why Campbell is back. After returning for 2022 Scream, she did not appear in Scream 6 because, of course, we talked about the salary issue. And he even said it too. He said that the salary did not equate to the value I have brought. Well, that's what she said. Sorry. She said the salary did not equate to the value I brought to the franchise. Now, at the time, Williamson was vocal about his belief that she did deserve more money. So he was in her corner the whole time. And he knows this because here's the thing, when you have banked this entire career on the back of Sidney, where every movie she was the final girl, and then you come in and just like, oh, we're under new management. Um, Wes Craven is no longer around because he passed away. So now we pass the torch. The Spyglass then, bought up some of the rights. And then we have these new team of people coming in, Radio Silence, who, whenever somebody's under new management, it's always this feeling of, oh, well, we're in here. We don't know these other people that have been here prior. So we're going to come in and do our own thing. And we're going to create our own characters, hence the core four. And then y'all benched, in my opinion, or should I say benched or more or less sidelined? You sidelined the legacy characters that my generation, who were there from the beginning, supported. Sidney, Gail, and Dewey. We were all for those three because they were well, y'all had to call four. I don't know what we would call them, the three amigos. I don't know what we would call them in this whole situation. But he went on to say that he was like, there was a big thing about pay discrepancy, but it also was about the part. It was like, you want me to show up at the end of the movie with a gun to help everyone shoot Ghostface? That's great. I'll do it. She was happy, but she also wanted a part. Actresses want to play parts, he said during the panel. So we were able to tap into that and find a way in. Working with Neve, we did it together. She was with me every step of the way, and she was so supportive and so helpful. She walked me through a lot of it. I hope it shows, but we had a blast. And I guess with the whole thing about her walking him through everything, it's like, yeah, when you're a writer and then when you're a director, it's two completely different things. So I'm sure he's been on set and he's seen how all the bells and whistles and stuff works, but no one truly knows the Sidney character inside and out other than Neve Campbell. She's played the character for damn near 3 decades. So at this point, it's like, who doesn't know the character inside and out? And this basically, in my opinion, proves that I was correct in my whole assessment. It's like, y'all don't have to say the stuff. I notice it and I point it out, and now they saying it. Because it's like, yeah, she wants to play a part. The fact of the matter was, when Radio Silence took over, she was barely in the movie. You only tacked her on at the end because Dewey was murdered. So that's the only time you shoehorn Nevin, or she's running with the babies in the stroller in one scene when she's on the phone with Dewey. And then when he's killed, then she's kind of thrown in back into Woodsboro, and then she's doing whatever it is that she's doing, and it just felt like she was tacked on. And then in part 8, it was like, what was you going to do with her? Like, where was y'all going to fit her in? got Gail in the last movie. So with all this being said, I'm that with all this going down. So it just goes to show, like, you know what? At the end of the day, when it all with what happened with the whole Melissa Barrera thing, and then you couldn't get Jenna Ortega back, but you was able to get the other two to come back. The other two out of the core four. Now it just feels like to me that y'all were too scared to start over with a new cast, because then everybody's like, well, who are these people? Now we got to sit and get to know these people when we already kind of sort of established these other group of people. And now we have to come in and you want to bring these new people in and all this other stuff. And I don't know how I feel about that. So now let's go back to Sidney. But at the end of the day, I know some people like, well, how are you going to keep Sidney around? Look, as long as if there's a story there, why not? Because in a way, I do feel like that is correct. We've never truly followed Sidney home. We've never got a sense of who Sidney was in a lot of ways. She's always was a victim of circumstance and where she fits in today. So it's like, yeah, she's got a family, she's moved on, but the past and everything that's happened to her will always find a way to haunt her. So I totally get it. So yeah, I'm excited for the movie with all the politics aside. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Kevin Williamson had to say? Yeah, he didn't reveal too much about the film and everything, but in so many ways, I'm pretty much excited for what they're going to bring with this film and all that good stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are in this story in the comments down below. Robert is in the building. He said, I was really afraid the show was being canceled. What show? He said, put a gay ghost face in the next movie. I'll go. I wish we would have a homosexual go face, ghost face. Okay, how you doing, Magical Mermaid? Swiftologist was hella shady as funk. A audience member said Scooter Braun is dead. He said no, though I do wish. Well, look, Scooter done apologize. Look, they was going in on Scooter and trolling him on social media after the whole Tay Tay situation, but he said, I wish her the best. Like, congratulations, good for her, all that good stuff. We'll get into that. Neve is the franchise for sure. Hollywood trying to be cheap as usual. Give them the Scarlet J boycott. Well, look, she finally got her damn money, but they got desperate. From my understanding, it was a glorified cameo in the finale. So I understand Neve. Yeah. It's like you're not gonna put me through some shit and then expect me to do it for like $2. Like, hell no. Oh, speaking of which, did y'all notice a little situation change with the photos? Did you notice that there was no background? Also, it was the straight up picture and everything. That's why I was late, because I literally 2 minutes before I went live, I was like, let me start playing around with the situation. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, these pictures are, and funny enough, I actually used a picture of Boomer Banks naked. Thank God this wasn't on, because YouTube would have banned me. So I was playing around. I was like, wait a minute. So I went into the settings. Wait, no, it wasn't the settings. So I went into like one of the things with like video file, image files, other stuff. And I started playing around and with the way the picture, I was like, wait a minute, this looks way better than the other thing I had before. So I was busy like grabbing all the photos that I had, and I had to put them in a folder real quick. And I was like, oh my God, this looks way better. So I discovered a new tool by accident. But you know how we do on this show. It's like, because I wasn't liking the way that the other thing was doing with the photos. So I was like, I had to find another way to do it. So I think that other situation looks way better. But anyway, enough of the behind the scenes stuff. Okay, y'all. So now let's move on and let's talk about Constantine 2. So one of the movies that I absolutely love, I love me some Constantine. I'm a huge fan of the Constantine franchise. And yeah, so we're supposed to be getting a new movie. I know that Keanu Reeves has said that they've been working on a script and stuff for a while. I don't know how far along they were. I think they were working on some stuff, but he said that he wasn't too excited about the overall, the outcome of what they were doing. And what we found out about it is through Peter Stormare. I don't know how I got his name messed up. Peter Stormare, who I absolutely love. I've seen him in a lot of movies. I think he also on Prison Break, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Peter Stormare has been around for a long time. But most recently, he did, well, not recently, because it was like 15 years ago this damn movie came out. So yeah, he played Lucifer. And I also love the idea that they had Tilda Swinton play Gabriel the Angel. So I always like it because, and I'm sure today people have an issue with it if the movie was coming out like, oh, you got a girl playing an angel. But it was like, if you actually looked at the photos, I mean, like the old Bibles that I grew up looking at, the angels always kind of looked androgynous to me. So it was like so you could pretty much like play it up where they kind of had that whole vibe. But so many people are so indoctrinated by religion and church and all other stuff. It's just like whatever. I don't get too caught up with the crazy Christians. But anyway, so Peter Stormare, who I said played Lucifer in the first Constantine movie, said that Keanu Reeves is not happy with the script, so the planned sequel. The Stand Your Ground actor also hinted that the project might contain fewer action sequences. Reeves portrayed the eponymous character in 2005's Constantine, which received mixed reviews at the time of its release and has since become a cult classic. Well, actually, if it came out in 2005, that means it was 20 years ago when this movie, you know, happened. I was like, damn, 20 years. That is a long time. But anyway, so Peter Stormare, during his interview with the Direct, said that Reeves wasn't happy. He disclosed that there's been a lot of back and forth on the subject. It's a lot of back and forth because I think Keanu, which I know pretty good, is not happy with the scripts and usually what comes out of the studios. The veteran thespian noted that the first movie had become a cult classic before indicating that the studio wanted bigger spectacle in the sequel. He says, quote, but to do a sequel, the studios want to have, cars flying in the air. They want to have people doing, he said, flip-flops. I'm like, what is flip? But that's what he said. He said they want to have people doing flip-flops and fighting action scenes. Now, according to Stormare, Reeves has his own vision of the movie and it's rooted in spirituality. Stormare said the Matrix actor feared that the sequel could stray too much from the core themes of the first movie. Stormare mentioned that Reeves was proud of the character he brought to life in the first movie before implying that the latter would keep on working on the sequel until he was satisfied with it. Per Stormare, Reeves wants his character to be as grounded as it was in the first one. He says, you don't have to add a lot of action and shootouts. You have other movies. Don't turn it into Big Marvel. Don't bring in the big guns. Let it be. Well, here's the thing. I agreed with this to an extent. I mean, you could still keep it grounded, but when you're talking about Hellblazer, who of course is John Constantine, he's someone who has he relies on a lot, like he's like mystical powers and all the other stuff. So in a way, he has a lot of that. So y'all can focus on that, or like him being an exorcist or somebody. I was like, child, that scared the hell out of me. I was like, what the hell was that? But anyway, it was like it was a power thing, so now everything's coming back on. Anyway, let me get back to the show. So you can have all that mysticism and everything in there. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't need no damn flying cars. I'm like, this is not the Fifth Element or what is it, Blade Runner. Like, we don't need stuff like that in there. I do feel like they need to keep it grounded. I do feel like they need to keep it in that way. But you could have more, like, I want more what is it, like the cross shotgun? I love that sequence where they have it in the first Constantine. I would love to see more of that. I would love to see more of that gun sequence, or like this gun right here, the one that I was talking about, the cross shotgun. I would love to see more of that in the film. So I don't know why we can't have that, more of that. I don't feel like that we need him being John Wick. John Wick is a whole nother situation. Speaking of John Wick, if y'all have not seen it, I highly recommend y'all. I don't know. I'll say you could buy it or rent it or whatever. I bought it because I'm a John Wick fan. Definitely check out Wick is Pain, which is the documentary that shows you how they put the movie together. It was so much drama behind the scenes of that movie. I had no idea the amount of stuff they were going through. Like literally days before they were supposed to start going and shooting the movie, they were out of $6.5 million. Thank God someone by the name of Eva Longoria came along and saved the day because she put up the money. And even though I knew that story, but it was nice to hear that was in the whole, that they added that in there. And then on top of that, I had no idea that Chad Stahelski was married. He married Heidi Moneymaker, who's a big stunt woman. She's doubled for the likes of like Scarlett Johansson. She was also in John Wick 2. The chick that was playing the violin that fought John, that's Heidi Moneymaker. And she also was Did I even say it? Scarlett Johansson, she doubled for her as Black Widow. So she's been doing a lot of stuff, but I didn't realize that because, they talked about why they got a divorce. They got back, well, they were separated during the first John Wick, got back together when the movie was over because he had her undivided attention, and then fully divorced during John Wick 2 because it was like once he's locked in doing his movies, that's it. And then the dynamic between him and Keanu and how they came up with a lot of the ideas for the movies and how he and David Leitch had a falling out, and because during when John Wick 2 was supposed to happen, David Leitch wanted to do a movie which ended up being Atomic Blonde, which we found out what the previous name was. I think it was called The Coldest Winter or something or another that they called it. So yeah, it was a lot. So yeah, definitely check that movie out. But yeah, in regards to this whole thing with Constantine, I'm a huge Constantine fan. I love the original, movie. It doesn't necessarily follow 110% everything from the Hellblazer comics and all that other stuff, but I do like the world they created with this. Now, if they want to do something separate and do like a whole individual Hellblazer, John, I mean, not John, well, John is his name, John Constantine. It was like, because I was thinking John Wick. But if they want to do something like that and bring back the guy from the TV show, because I love the TV show as well. I was so mad when they canceled it. So if they want to kind of go in that whole direction of bringing that back, then that would be cool. But I definitely love the visuals and the themes and the tapping into spirituality. And if they want to play into this whole thing of, well, Keanu's character is struggling with, okay, he's got his addiction to, well, the cigarette stuff. He was going to die of cancer, but then we already saw what happened when Satan basically took out the dirty lungs. It was like, oh no, you're going to live. You're not going to heaven. Well, after you give me the damn finger, when you're going up there, it's like, oh hell no, you coming back down to earth. You're going to suffer in this world. And those others. So in the meantime, while he's suffering being in hell on earth, he can go and deal with his issues and struggles with spirituality and stuff. So you could explore those things, but also give us like some cool action sequences. I'm not saying you got to go buck wild like MCU stuff, but I do feel like, yeah, keep it grounded, give us some really cool stuff, and I think it'll be good. But hopefully they get this damn script together because look, it's been far too long since we've had a Constantine movie. It's been, like I said, 20 years. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to the latest, what Keanu Reeves is talking about? Well, not even Keanu, it's Peter Stormare spilling behind the scenes tea about how this Constantine script is coming along. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. You say yes, please. Look at that umbrella, guys. Thumbnails, large bright text, get views. Are you talking about the pictures? And you said, oh, Sailor Mermaid's in the building. I said, notice how Elon drug use is now exploding in the media. Oh, funny enough. And I forget who wrote an article. I didn't get a chance to read it. I just saw the headline on Deadline. And they was talking about how Elon going buck wild over, wait, let me see what it was. Let me just actually go over there for a second. Because I think it was in the thumbnail that they had. But it was like Elon is losing his drug use has been exposed. But I'm like, we all knew that he was a ketamine addict. Like, this is not news that he does. But I know it was a mixture of ketamine, ecstasy, all that other stuff. They started talking about it, but we all knew about his. Oh, it was the New York Times. The New York Times apparently did an expose on Elon Musk exposing his drug use. And if you look at videos of him in the White House or in certain events, he's like, are you doing this stuff with his? I'm like, what the hell is wrong with him? Like, you already ugly. And you, on top of that, you doing these weird looking faces, like your eyes look like they rolling in the back of your head, and you doing stuff like, what the hell? Like, you ain't even look, even with the plastic surgery and stuff, you still look like a beast. But you still out here mad. And they basically, and New York Times said they standing 10 toes down in their article. They say he lashed out because he doesn't like the article. Well, if you don't like the article, then stop being a damn drug addict. But he ain't the only drug addict up in that place. I mean, we got Pete Hegseth, Dash Patel. They all a bunch of damn drug. Don't even get me started on the current president. He got an Adderall addiction. So they all up in there, coked up, drunk, snorting lines of prescription medication. They all higher than Cooter Brown up in there. So You know, it's a regular day for Elon at the office being high and cool. It's like, what else they got to do? You making babies for no reason, just populating the earth, ain't even taking care of the kids, and then you drug or drugged up. Ew. He said, I'll pass. He said, yes, the pictures upload thumbnails. Yeah, the pictures do look better. He said, looks, your candidate is surging Cuomo now. I've seen it. Well, yeah, funny enough, I don't talk about it enough, but I think the reason I got more into politics is because my mother gets into politics stuff as well. She just recently did an event over the weekend, and she sent me like the picture and stuff. But she recently did an event over the weekend where it was like for affordable housing and stuff, and Zora Mamdani was there. And she keeps talking to me about it. So this is the one you said you voting for, right? This is the one you said. I said yes. It's like I have to keep reminding because I tell anybody who will listen not to vote for Cuomo. Do not vote for that man, even though he was there too. But um, don't vote for him. He don't care about affordable housing. He is cucked to Israel and a lot of those, people. He's a Zionist. It's like, no, we're not voting for him. Just like Rahm Emanuel thinking he gonna run for president in 2028. I'm like, who voting for you? Because the damn sure ain't gonna be me. And so it's time New York that we get a change. Excuse me, in New York, and hopefully we are the ones who could be we could be the progressive state that actually puts someone fresh, new, and different in office instead of always voting for what's familiar. Because I feel like that's what people kept doing with the presidents, especially the Democratic ones. Everybody's like, "Oh, we need to." And I was watching something. I think it was CNN, which they be making me roll my eyes with the foolishness they be saying over there. But there was one person that said, oh, we need something different. We need something different within the Democratic Party. Well, why y'all keep voting for the same damn thing? The Clintons, the Obamas, the Bidens, all under the same umbrella are one and the same. It's just a different face. But the policies remain the same. The way they vote is the same. They're cucked to Wall Street. They're cucked to, Israel. Hence why we had our last president that was funding a genocide over in Gaza, and now we have a new president or former president that we've had once upon a time who's still funding that situation. So, two sides of the same coin. So we definitely need something new, and hopefully Zoran will be that person because it'd be a cold day in hell before I actually flip a switch. Well, we don't even flip switches; we just have to put in a circle. We have to like check the little thing and then put the through the little machine. It's all fancy now. So yeah, you said 8 million a day, probably involved in other world. But yeah, I not look, and y'all already know. Speaking of Obama, he was the one that gave Elon $600 million for his businesses. So we could sit here and be mad at Trump all we want, but Obama did it first. So we should be just as mad at him for the whole situation. We, the voters, are further left while our candidates aren't. I want to slap James. Child, please. That man look like he got one foot in the damn grave as it is. Anyway, after saying Omar should leave the party. Well, I'm sure they probably will say, what's her name? Miss Tlaib. They probably say that she need to leave too. James Carville is child. He tired and old. These men don't care. But anyway, let's move on, y'all, because I'm not trying to get too caught up in the politics today. Let's talk about Ryan Coogler, who says that there was a rumor that was swirling that states that we'll be getting a sequel to Sinners. And apparently, who was it? Well, I'll get to it in a second on who said that we're going to be getting a sequel and things. But Ryan Coogler said, I don't know who told y'all that, but I have no interest in making a sequel. Now, I do agree. I do not feel like Sinners needs a sequel. I feel like the movie is good where it is, regarding, and I've had full conversations with people about it. Now that I think about it, I do think that what the movie could have used a little bit more. I wanted more vampire stuff. I wanted that third act to be a little more, on the violence and things of that nature, but apparently we didn't get any of that. And it was because I guess, Ryan Coogler was more or less interested in telling the story about the music and everything else, and I love that aspect of it. But I felt like for it being a vampire movie, I want a little more vampire stuff to be up in there regarding the movie. But nevertheless, the movie is what it is. And according to a scooper by the name of MTTSH, he said that Warner Brothers is moving forward with a sequel to Ryan Coogler's Sinners. But in a recent interview, he said that he has no interest in directing a sequel to his hit vampire movie. So now, in a recent interview with Ebony Magazine, Coogler, who directed mega franchise blockbusters like Black Panther and Creed, said he never thought about making a follow-up to his enormously successful vampire thriller. He says, quote, I've been in a space of making franchise films for a bit, so I wanted to get away from that. I was looking forward to working on a film that felt original and personal to me and had an appetite for delivering something to audiences that were original and unique. He also went on to say, I wanted the movie to feel like a full meal, your appetizers, starters, entrees, and desserts. I wanted all of it there. I wanted it to be a holistic and finished thing. That's how I was asked all about it. That was always my intention. But of course, when we talk about Hollywood, Hollywood always has different plans when it comes to what your intentions was, because your intentions may have been, oh, I just want to make this movie that felt personal, and I have the beginning, the middle, the end. I want to give y'all everything in the kitchen sink up in there and really give you a fully nuanced story. But you already know when it comes to Hollywood, once something is successful, we need to create a sequel, and it's got to become its own IP and all these other things. And I feel like that's kind of like the direction that they're going to want to go into. Now, the question remains, does this franchise warrant, or does Sinners warrant it being a franchise? Does it need to be a sequel? I've followed a lot of the debates on social media where people were feeling like they think that it does. Oh, I want to know more about the Smokestack twins. Oh, I want to see what happened. Look, at this point, the movie, doesn't it come out today on digital? I think, if I'm not mistaken, or is it next week? I don't know. We talked about it before, but I think it was last week we talked about it. So I do think it is out on. Oh wait, today's Monday, so it might be out on digital tomorrow. Usually, digital releases and all the other stuff comes out on a Tuesday. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. Y'all could just Google Schmoogle to find out when the damn thing come out. But for those of you who have seen it so far, and if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but let's do a little spoiler. So if we're going to talk about okay, so where could they possibly go if they were to make a sequel? I know some people well, they want to know what happened before they came back home when they were in Chicago and all that other stuff. But I feel like if you get into that, then it becomes less about vampires, because there was no introduction of vampires and things of that nature where they were out there. It only transpired when they came home. So I don't think that would work. Or you would have to do like a little, so I don't want to see that, what they were doing in Chicago before they came back home. I don't think that's an interesting enough of a story. Now, the only thing that I could think of that I would love to see in regard, and yeah, I don't want to see what happened with Stack and Mary when they, because they were the two vampires that survived, and how we saw them from like the 1930s, and then during the post-credit scene, or was it a mid-credit? No, it was the mid-credit scene, after mid-credit scene, as we call it. Because I'm like, wait, post-credit is after the credit. So mid-credit scene, when we saw that Mary and Stack came to see an elder Samuel playing at this club, and how they had their little conversation and stuff. So I'm sure that some people are like, well, let's explore the world of Mary and Stack when all them, the what was it, like 50, 60 years from like well, I guess because it was like my grandparents were born in the 30s. So I would say like from that to the 90s, like, yeah, 50 years or something or another. If I had to do the math off the top of my head, if I done screwed up the math, I apologize. But if they could find a way to do that story, I don't think that's an interesting story either. The only story that I feel like that would probably be the most interesting that we could see them visit would be the Choctaw tribe. The only story that I want to see is with the Native Americans, when we got to see that sequence where they were chasing Remick. and they were looking for him, and he goes and seeks refuge with the racist, the Klans man and his wife, and that whole situation. That to me seems to be the only story that I would love to see them take on. Like we've never really seen a Native American vampire, tribe of hunters. So I feel like that would be something, and especially with those being my people, like I would love to see, the an indigenous group of people, slaying, vampire hunters and that sort of thing, or monster hunters, and you can kind of play into that world. The only time that I've really seen, damn it, I wish I remembered the name of it. There was this movie, I believe it's on Shudder, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, but there was a movie where it was just like, this tribe of Native Americans, and it was like a zombie apocalypse, a zombie outbreak, and that sort of thing. And I would like to, and how I think they were immune to the the zombie bites and all other stuff. So I would love to see them kind of play into, like, that was seeing like Native Americans in whole world of horror and that sort of thing. So I would definitely love to see them take that on in regards to that. So yeah, that's the only story that I can think of that they could go with that. All the other things where everybody's talking about is like, yeah, I want to see the Choctaw tribe of vampire hunters explored. I just feel like that would be a good direction. And I don't know if Ryan Coogler will be interested and wanted to come on and direct it, because I know he's got Black Panther 3 that he's got to worry about. I know there have been talks about that movie happening. So that's the only one that I can think of that I would like to actually see, him take that on. So, yeah, there you have it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Ryan Coogler had to say about Sinners? While he's saying that he has no plans on making a sequel, the rumors are swirling that they are looking to create they want a sequel to Sinners. But the question remains, is there a story there worth exploring to even, conjure a sequel? I don't really think there is, unless it's like I said, the Choctaw tribe. Like, that's the only story that I can think of that they could possibly explore. Even though it was like, what, less than 5 minutes they was on the screen. Story to me seemed like the most interesting out of to explore out of everything else that we witnessed in that film. So yeah, definitely I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Ooh, child. Um, Sailor Mermaid says, honestly, sequels, prequels, and what you said to me in between quotes. Oh yeah, I did tell you that one, right? You said in between quotes can make or break a franchise, but most of the time it breaks in terms of story. Yeah. You said center television series might work, but if they do a series, what story would they explore? You said, yeah, a prequel with the Native American tribe. Yeah, I would definitely love to see, like, the Native American tribe of vampire hunters explore, like, where they come from, what's their history, do they have like is there was there something, because like in with indigenous people they did have like shamans and things of that nature, and they were my tribes are very much into spirituality and all that other stuff, and herbs and all of that, and reincarnation, a lot of spiritual things. So it kind of makes me wonder, would that be something they would want to explore? And then how do, like, is there like a shaman within the tribe that has given them like some special type of powers? Are they like super strength where they could take on vampires and things of that nature? Like, that's something that I think that would be cool to explore. You can go anywhere with that whole story because it's an original IP. All right, you said Ryan's next project is X-Files. Well, that hasn't been confirmed. If it is, I know he wants to do an X-Files movie. There's also um there was also a rumor that he was supposed to direct the X-Men film. We all know now that's, well, according to the rumor, that's not happening, but he was approached. I would have liked to have seen a Ryan Coogler um X-Men movie. Although I've also heard that they're looking at Bryan Cranston to play Professor X. That is an actual good casting. I like that. I mean, he had to shave his head again and go all Walter White on us. But other than that, I'm just like, yeah, I could definitely see Bryan Cranston playing Professor X. Magneto, I heard they want to go black with him. I've heard Coleman Domingo's name. I've heard other names. I do feel like They may have to change up Magneto's story because here's the thing. When you look at Magneto, and I know people probably gonna get mad about it, but here's the thing. If we're talking about Magneto and you're talking about somebody whose whole story revolves around being a Holocaust survivor, you know how long ago that was? Like Magneto had to be over 100 years old at this point. And if we're talking about timelines and stories and things, like it worked when it was the 2000s because it was still like we can still explore that. But we're in 2025 and the Holocaust, although nobody's denying it and all this other stuff, trying to play into that story, I don't feel like it would kind of work today because, like I said, like Magneto would have to be old as hell, but having the agility of a 45-year-old or something, like I don't see that happening. So they have to come up with something because that whole, I don't know, the Holocaust angle doesn't really work today because of the time. Hmm. Yeah, so I would like to see an X Files movie. Like I told y'all before, I need to revisit the X Files TV show because I used to watch a couple of episodes, but I never really like watched it. But now that I'm older, I think I can watch it now. All right, so let's see. All right, let's move on, y'all. Let's talk about Miss Beyonce, who just made some history. She went out and bought the rights to her first 6 albums, and I don't necessarily know what the overall price was. The price keeps changing. um I've heard some people say 300 million. I've heard some people say 600 million. I've heard people say that she paid close to $1 billion, which I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because if she paid close to $1 billion, then wouldn't she be broke at this point? Because she's a billionaire, and I feel like she made a lot of that money because of the Eras tour. And to me, I feel like this is a smart move for her. And I feel like if all artists would just go in and, you know what, just work like a damn workhorse, save all your money, do, right by your businesses and play your cards right. And then if you have the coin, buy back, buy back the rights to your music. And Taylor Swift, in my opinion, did the smart thing where now she owns it. So then it kind of makes me wonder, all those little records that y'all bought, the Taylor's version and the Reputation, when they went and switched up all the little different iterations of her albums. Does that mean y'all gonna go back and listen to the old stuff now that she owns it? So, inquiring minds, I definitely want to know, because I'm like, look, to me, like I said before, this is smart on Taylor's part. So let's get into the story. So a week after Page Six exclusively revealed, look at Page Six actually being on something for once, revealed that buying back her masters was a possibility. The singer announced the news on Friday with a lengthy message on her official website. She said, quote, "I'm trying to gather my thoughts into something coherent, but right now my mind is just a slideshow," began her note, which was formatted like a handwritten letter. "I'm sending him a 4-page letter and sealed it with a kiss. And if I write him, he better get it on time." Shout out to Aaliyah. I don't know why I started singing Aaliyah, because I think it said handwritten letter and I'm thinking 4-page letter. But anyway, let's get back to the story. A flashback sequence of all the time I daydreamed about, wished for, and pined away for a chance to get to tell this news. All the times I was this close, reaching out for it only for it to fall through. I almost stopped thinking it could ever happen. After 20 years of having the carrot dangled and then yanked away, but that's all in the past now. I've been bursting into tears of joy at random intervals ever since I found out this was really happening. I really get to say those words. All of the music I've ever made now belongs to me. Swift went on to reiterate that her entire catalog, which consists of music videos, concert films, album art, and photography, unreleased songs, plus the memories, the magic, the madness, every single era, her entire life's work belongs to her. In 2019, record executive Scooter Braun bought the rights to her first 6 albums, Taylor Swift, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, and Reputation, for $300 million, allegedly without her approval, before they were acquired by the investment from Shamrock Capital a year later. In 2018, However, Swift signed a new deal with Universal Music Group and Republic Records, where she recorded and owns the masters of Lover, Folklore, Evermore, Midnights, and the Tortured Poets Department. The Lover songstress went on to explain in her letter that her music was so important to her and to her fans that she meticulously re-recorded and released 4 of her albums, which she called Taylor's Version. This paramount, well, quote, I should say, the passionate support you showed those albums and the success story you turned the Eras Tour into is why I was able to buy back my music, she noted. I can't thank you enough for helping you reunite me with the art that I have dedicated my life to, but have never owned until now. And you want to know something? With her saying this, I really feel that this is exactly why her fans love her, is because she's like, you know what, y'all out here supporting my stuff. You listen to the Taylor's Version. You actually went out and came to see me on tour as many times you see me. So all that money, because, and this is somebody who realizes that if it were not for the fans, I would not be where I am today. The fact that, yeah, y'all kept giving me money and money, and I'm not sitting here spending it on frivolous stuff, that, yeah, I took that money and I was smart and I flipped it and I actually put it into buying my masters instead of a lot of you digbats who out here just selling y'all masters and y'all music because y'all need a little quick coin. And it's like, I would never do that, because what I want to do is, if I'm creating all this stuff and my art and everything means the world to me, and I get it, like when you get into the music business, it's all about, they're giving you this advance so you can go in and record the music and stuff, and they're expecting you to just stay bankrupt and go broke and all this and constantly owe them money. But it's like, no, I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna sit up here, I'm gonna write my songs, I'm produce all the other stuff, I'm gonna be hands on my stuff, and then I'm gonna tour. I'm gonna break my back over this whole career because I have my eye on the prize, and the eye is that I want to own my stuff. Y'all not gonna sit up in here and own me. And so Taylor was smart about it, and I hope other artists will listen and take this as a prime example. If you actually give a damn about your music and you just not up in here being like, I just want to be a pop star and I just want to be famous and I just want to be on stage. Okay, well, you go ahead and do that. If that's your dream, then you go ahead and do that. But at least someone like a Taylor Swift, she's all about, the artistic integrity, owning my own stuff, whether you like her music or not, owning her stuff, what she worked hard to create. I hope other artists would be in this situation and would want to do the same thing. Because if I was in her shoes, I would definitely be out here touring like hell. So that way I could someday buy back my stuff. And then when I have children and things of that nature, I could pass it down to them. And if I ever want to license my music out to something that is near and dear to me, a commercial, a shoot, or whatever it is that I want to license my stuff out to, I get to say where my music goes. I get to say who can use my stuff and who cannot, because you have to go through me. I own me. And artists should be happy or be wanting to own their own stuff, in my opinion. So the Grammy winner then addressed Swifties' incessant theories that she would soon announce Reputation, Taylor's version, admitting, I haven't even re-recorded a quarter of it. Well, at this point, now that you own the masters, you don't need to. See, now this is the news y'all was all waiting for. Because y'all was sitting out here worrying about, oh, when we getting Reputation Taylor version, and y'all was expecting her to downstairs at the AMAs, which nobody of importance showed up to. So um she didn't announce that because she was busy working on her business behind the scenes, and now y'all got the tea. So now y'all know why you ain't getting Taylor's version of Reputation. You can actually go back and listen to the regular Reputation because she now owns the rights to that album. She also explained that she couldn't seem to get into the zone because the album was so specific to that time in my life where she longed to be understood while feeling purposely misunderstood. She said, to be perfectly honest, it's the one album in those last 6 that I thought couldn't be improved upon by redoing it, so I kept putting it off. And I feel like, you know what? It's no shade to anybody who goes out here and does that. Because look, shout out to JoJo, because JoJo, before Taylor Swift even jumped on Instagram, I know she gets all the credit, but JoJo was the first one to go over here and start re-recording her old stuff because of the hell that Black Round Tight Ass Records put her through. Yeah, Aaliyah Tight Ass Uncle, what he did to her over there at that record label, and how she went through hell and things of that nature. So with all of that, it's like, when you look at the situation, I felt that re-recording it I feel like it takes what went into that first record out of it. It doesn't feel the same. Because I tried listening to re-recorded albums, the re-recorded song that JoJo did from her debut album, and all the other albums she did that Black Round did release. Didn't feel the same. And I feel like it's probably the same thing with Taylor Swift. Like, yeah, you're trying to do the right thing as a fan, or as I'd say a Swiftie, and you're supporting the Taylor version because of what the industry is doing or did to her, how they did her dirty. So I understand you wanting to support her on that, but I'm sure like when you listen to the record, it still doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have that same thing that you enjoy when you listen to the original version. So the smart thing to do is I'm going to buy back the rights to the original work. And if you now want to revisit the old work, because it was like, if this was a time I was in this headspace, I was feeling this way at this time when I recorded it. When you re-record stuff, it doesn't have that, like I said, that same thing, that same je ne sais quoi, that same joie de vivre, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It doesn't have that same thing that you felt when you was in the studio recording the record at the time than when it was recorded. So I totally get it. I'm glad that she went and did what she did. Oh, and before we get up out of here, I do want to mention. Oh, they said that she celebrated by hanging out with Dakota Johnson, who actually was at my job the other day. She was at the Mets game. She was there in Martin Short, but Martin Short came the next day. Dakota Johnson was at the Mets game, which they won both games that I was there for. She was at the Friday game, and then Martin Short came to the Saturday game. So celebrities have been out. So she was out with her. She was out with Selena Gomez. But before we get up out of here, I do want to address this situation because Ben Shapiro decided to fix his mouth. I'm like, first of all, sir, your balls haven't even dropped because that voice is a little too high to be in a 40-something-year-old man's body. And you got the nerve to try to come for Taylor Swift. So Alyssa Farrah Griffin had to read him down to the floor. Y'all know her from The View, where she went in on Ben Shapiro. She said, I will pick it anywhere that man is at. I was like, girl, screw him. He ain't worth that juice ain't worth the damn squeeze. Quiet as it's kept. So yeah, he went and he slammed artists like Swift and Jennifer Lopez, who recently made out with her background dancers because you wish you was in on it. Ain't your wife ain't put her mouth on that peen since probably y'all, you said I do. So, and he said that for acting younger than they are to maintain relevancy. He accused the women who he described as middle age of masquerading as 17-year-olds. And I'm like, you're a weirdo, number one, because why are you even out here commenting on women and saying that they're trying to be youthful? Sir, you're 41 years old. Taylor Swift is 6 years younger than you. She's 35. You're 41. How you gonna call somebody middle age? And Jennifer Lopez is 55 and looks better than any bitch you've ever stuck your little 4-inch dick up in. So let's not sit up here and try to read somebody about age when you look every bit of 41. So when you want to sit up here and talk about white folks aging and white folks looking like rotten, spoiling like rotten milk, sir, you need to look in the mirror and get your ass some moisturizer. So with all that being said, I had to read that old tired ass queen. She think because she running around here with her little conservatisms and with her little yarmulke that shit's supposed to shield her from me reading her ass down to the floor. And look, I actually did good. Almost an hour without cussing until he started with me. So anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Miss Tay Tay? Owning the rights to her music. We was gonna have to talk about it on the show. So whether you like her music or not, I do like some of her songs. You already know, like, I'm not a big Swiftie, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, but I do like when she went a little pop. And 1989 is an album that I frequent because it gives me my life with the production and stuff. And I live for a synth. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. You said it was 360 million. People need to remember the original masters are devalued because of the Taylor's version of the albums. I'm just waiting for the repressing where the copyright is her for the vinyls. You said CD and cassettes. Oh, she got that on. Oh, there's all that going to be. Oh, well, I guess she is going to be putting all that out. That 20 years was shade. It's a big machine, as it's 20 years since she was signed to her contract at the age of 15. The tour profits paid for it. I'm sure, of course it did. There's like the profits, from the merch and a lot of people showing up and just buying a lot of the stuff. Yeah, that definitely helps. And you know what? I guess maybe this was the plan all along. Like, that's why she kept being out here and touring with that record. I'm not her biggest fan, but good for her. It still boggles my mind that artists having the rights to their art is not a common practice in the industry, because the industry doesn't want them to. Um, the industry doesn't want you to own the rights to yourself. What they want to do is they want to keep you like a slave. They want you to just be forever indebted to them. They want you to be in debt. They want you to be broke. They want you to not own any of the stuff. And it's very few lucky people that actually own the rights. Like, let me give a shout out to Conan Gray, because I heard his upcoming album that he has coming out. He actually owns the masters to that. I don't know about the previous records. Oh, and shout out to him for finally coming out of the closet. That's another thing to be. I'm not outing him. He outed himself. He has a new music video where he's making out with this boy all up in the video. I don't know if y'all seen it, but it's out. But shout out to Conan Gray for finally coming out as a homosexual. Well, he ain't say it, but child, you out here damn near sucking face with this little boy. You a homo. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say like that. But yeah, I heard that the new album he has coming out, he does own the masters to that. So shout out to him. Uh, yeah. Not you saying you joined during the best topic. I believe that. He probably, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Prince did, because Prince was a pioneer in a lot of ways, especially with the hell Warner Brothers put him through with his music. The re-recordings helped her younger fan base that grew up with her music during the 2010s fall back in love with the same songs now as a teenager adult. It also helped her reclaim the #1 spot in pop. Yeah, because it's like everything old is new again, right? Do you think there was any shade thrown at Miley for announcing this the same day she released it? You mean the album that nobody actually cared about? Because here's the thing. No shade, but I just did not care to listen to the new Miley record. I never just got around to it. You know whose record I was also disappointed with? I listened to um I listened to the new Garbage album. I'm like, Shirley, what the hell is this? I was like, no, this ain't it. This is why I will always love and appreciate y'all old stuff. The new stuff we ain't asked for. Stop making new music. Just stick to the old stuff. There's some bands that I feel like, you know what, just don't give us new music. Like, y'all were at a time where it was just good, but now it's just like, just go out and just play the new stuff. It's kind of like Billy Joel. He does the new music, he does the old music. He only came out with one little song that he would promote on his perform when he was live. But other than that, it's like he sticks to the classics. Some of y'all, have a little expiration date. There might have been. Who was the other one? Oh, but we know Selena Gomez threw some shade at Hailey Bieber. We'll get into that story. That Miley's album debuted with 8.5 million total streams on its first day. I love Conan's new song. We been knew that he was a homosexual. His new tour for his album also seems, yeah, I saw that too. That he wants, the new album's called Wishbone, by the way, and he wants everybody to come in like your little sailor uniform. I'm like, could this be any more gay? A little sailor uniform. You could dress up in pajamas and things of that nature. So Conan living his truth. And I say it's about time, Miss Hunter. He cute too. He did cut on my job for his last tour. All right. Now, okay. Now since we was talking about Selena Gomez, let's get into her ex, because Justin Bieber out here being a hot ass mess. So apparently, Justin Bieber fans are growing concerned for the singer, because I guess recently he was spotted. Well, not spotted, but he posted a picture of himself where he looked high as hell. I don't know if it's saying higher than Cooter Brown or higher than Elon Musk in a K-hole. And, he had the baby on top of it. First of all, no shade, I don't want to talk no ill about no kids, but why that baby look like, how like you take unseasoned turkey and you put it in and how it look like, why the baby look like an unseasoned turkey and like the legs is just behind the neck, and then you just need to put a little that special little seasoning or rub it all over the thing. That's what the baby looked like. But why Justin look half asleep when you see in the picture on the left? The head is down, which is not good, because I think people are growing concerned, because it's like he looked high as hell with that playing with the baby. and they worrying about, you know, the possibility that he might pass out or something and the baby might get hurt and he might drop him or something or another. So yeah, let's do a little remix of Justin's song and just go, baby, 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 no. Because on Thursday, the singer posted a carousel of images from a recent trip he took with friends and his 9-month-old son, who he shares with Hailey Bieber. Now, in one photo, the child is on his shoulders. In another, his feet are seen as he lies on a couch alongside his father. Now, Bieber captioned the photo dump, "Gonna be a good summer." While those photos on their own seem innocent enough, some of the other images in the carousel have sparked more concern from his fans. While one picture shows the Deebs, 31, smoking something solo, another shows him doing it with a friend. In the latter image, he's wearing the same shorts and sitting on the same couch as one of the photos, with Jack, though Jack is not actually seen in the shot. The most popular fan comment overall on Bieber's post, with more than 18,000 likes, reads, "Don't smoke in front of your kid." Wasn't there a story that came out, if I'm not mistaken? Wasn't there a photo a story that came out like during Coachella that Justin Bieber, and we did show the photos of him where he looked like he was like out of it. I don't know if it was a mixture of like he was on that bong, absorbing all that bong water up in his lungs, and then I think it was alcohol and stuff too. But didn't they say like that? I think he was getting high in front of his younger brother. And a lot of people was complaining about him doing that. So here's the thing. I understand he a grown man. And if you're gonna smoke your weed, smoke your weed. Like, there's no shade with that. Like, I'm not somebody who is a prude when it comes to smoking weed. Because, I like to talk every now and again. However, you should not be doing this around your son. Because you don't want, contact highs and all this other stuff going on when it comes to your son and all this other stuff. So you need to be just aware of, like, if you're going to do y'all drugs, don't do it around y'all kids, because there's a such thing as contact high and all that other stuff. So hopefully Bieber is being smart and not doing that around his son. And at least if he is, and Haley catch you, that she gonna go oops upside your damn head. Like, what the hell are you doing? Now, that one comment alone sparked nearly 200 replies, many of which came from other fans jumping in to defend Bieber. Of course, the believers are going to come in and say whatever. They said he's not. It's different moments, clearly. While others chimed in saying, how about you worry about your own life, Karen? You don't see that man smoking with his baby in none of these pics. Y'all say anything for attention. And here's the thing. Just because someone snaps a picture of Justin Bieber smoking drugs or doing whatever, and you don't see the kid in the frame, doesn't necessarily mean that the kid is not in the room. So, of course, y'all gonna go by whatever you see in a photo. The person was just saying, in general, don't smoke in front of your kid. Just saying that, just in general. Just, I hope you're not out here doing drugs, whatever the case is, in front of your child. Which I feel like is a valid thing to bring up. But of course, you're going to get these people that live in this little, world of Delulu, and they're going to always consistently defend their fave because they're their fave. But you can call your fave out on stuff if they doing something that you feel like, okay, now you should not be out here doing that. But we pulled the picture up before that, y'all remember, where he's got the baby around his neck and he look high. But I wonder what's going on with Justin, that he feel like he need to be on that damn weed all the time. Like, what's going on, y'all? Like, you that sad or whatever? Does the weed help the Ramsey Hunt syndrome? That's what I want to know. Because I know there's some people, like, I have friends who is like, weed helps them out in a lot of situations. They rather just smoke weed and stuff instead of taking prescription medications, which I'm actually totally here for. Because them prescription medications, they could be worse on you mentally. So if the marijuana helps you, relax and control, like helps you suppress with the anxiety and all that other stuff, then do what you got to do to decompress, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Now, others read, doing drugs with the baby around, I hope that baby wasn't exposed to marijuana smoke. You can be better than this. Leave the vices. Bestie, you did not just smoke in front of baby. How you call somebody bestie? Chad, you don't know him? In front of baby Jack. And dude, there is no way you have that baby around that smoke. Be better like we know you can be. Still, many came to Bieber's defense, while others leaving notes that, like, these judgmental comments are not the vibe, and everyone in the comment section, let's use our brains now. Jack isn't even pictured in these photos where he's smoking. He didn't smoke in front of Jack. Now, a lot of his followers, meanwhile, were simply happy to get a new glimpse of the child with Haley. So, look, Justin out here living his best life. Like I said before, I just hope, like, in smart terms, that, yeah, you're not out here doing drugs and stuff in front of the kids. So I hope he's being responsible in that way. But you can't blame people for having genuine concerns over the fact that Justin could be out here, possibly exposing his child to weed and all those. Look, then we hear stories about Honey Boo Boo Mama out here doing her meth and heroin and all that other mess, and the door being locked. Like, she'll tell you the story about her mother. She did a whole damn movie on Lifetime. So the kids know. So just be aware of, like, what you're doing around these children. So hold on. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the Biebs? I mean, do you think that he is getting hot and cooler brown around his own child? Or do you think that people are just overreacting? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, he's a child. I was like, yeah, where have you been? Because he got a kid. Speaking of which, sidebar, not well, kids, but shout out to Rihanna who lost her father over the weekend. So I just want to give her a shout out for that. All right, so now let's get into the Selena Gomez story, because apparently the BeyHive is going in on her because she was out here, watching a Beyonce concert, which I'm like, I don't understand why people was all upset over it. So yeah, she went to the Cowboy Carter tour over the weekend. I believe they're done over at the MetLife Stadium. That was out in New Jersey. So yeah, so Selena Gomez went out there and went to go see Miss Beyonce. And she went and posted a photo of her in one of the suites, but also went and posted a photo of her watching the Knicks Pacers game, which, child, don't get me started on that. Here's the thing. I am a Knicks fan. I love the Knicks, straight up New York through and through. Even though there was some things that y'all was pissing me off about the way y'all was playing, and y'all had my stress level through the roof the many times I worked these events. And when I watched that last game, I couldn't even finish the last game because I was like, okay, now I already see where this is going. So I had to walk away from that game. But then I found out the next day, was like, yeah, they lost. So next, I want to give y'all flowers for as far as y'all got. And so I totally understand, because it's been a while since we've gotten this far. So you know what? They played a good game, but hopefully we can get further next season. So I'm rooting for y'all. But in regards to the whole situation, people was mad because Selena Gomez was multitasking. She was watching the Cowboy Carter tour, but then again, how far back she was. It was like, girl, you actually watching the tour, because it seemed like you was more or less interested in that Knicks Pacers game than you wasn't watching that long ass Cowboy Carter tour, which I heard clocks in damn near 3 hours. So people was upset over her for doing that instead of her focusing on the tour. But I'm just sitting there like, this is an important game right now. Like, we've never seen the Knicks get this far. A lot of your major celebrities are showing up to this event. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner at these damn shows. More or less Timothy Chalamet than her. But Timothy Chalamet's been there a lot. Ben Stiller's been there a lot, and also Spike Lee. Spike Lee's always there, and Tracy Morgan. So it's just like, we get the who's who, and I saw like there was some idiot over in Indiana, because I had to remember where the Pacers is from. It was like, I'm sitting there thinking Chicago. I was like, Indiana. So when it went over to it, so when they went to go support the Knicks, you had that one moron that was like calling them out, trying to like act like the celebrities back. I said, no, we are a loyal bunch. Like, we supporting our people, because you ain't get that energy to Mike Epps when his ass was there at the courtside. But I guess because of the other team, then you get all, up in arms. Whereas like, you want to call somebody else, like, sir, if you don't go play in traffic. So yeah, so she said, still got my eye on the game, because I had to look for what she said in the snap. And They said, which has been added to her Instagram story. Now, someone outraged by Selena's actions and blasted her for not appreciating the Beyonce gig, and even went as far as hinting that she didn't want to be there. Complaining on Reddit, one said, not surprised, rich people can't appreciate things because they've destroyed the pleasure center of their brain from getting what they want all the time. Okay, you're doing too much with that comment. Another person says, Selena will never know an ounce of the happiness I felt in the cheap seats. So y'all mad because she actually has access to the suite and y'all got to sit in the cheap seats and just being so happy that you in the room? Another person said, only time I watched something on my phone at a show was the one time I didn't want to be there at all. However, many defended Selena and understood her motive given that the Knicks have not reached the NBA Finals since 1999. One said, so it's been 25 years, and I cannot tell you this enough. Whenever I'm at work and I've had these conversations with a lot of the fans, Knicks fans, because I do converse in between me working, I'm sitting there, we're talking sports, I'm sitting there having full conversations with a lot of the Knicks fans, and we are a loyal bunch. So when we sitting there having conversations like, it's been 25 years since they made it to the finals, because I believe that the last time the Knicks actually won, Beyonce wasn't even born yet. It was like, I think 1972 or 1973. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. So it's been a hot minute since, we've actually won, or we've got not even won, but we've won. And then we've gotten so far in, where we've gotten in this whole situation. So yeah, it's been a minute. So this is an important situation. And it's like, I can do two things at once. So another person said, I live in New York City, and plenty of my friends who went to the Cowboy Carter show last night also had the game on their phones. I'm not a basketball fan, but apparently it's been a big deal. Another person said, in fairness, the last time Knicks won a championship, Beyonce wasn't even born. So let fans enjoy two things. A third added, don't think it has a thing to do with her being rich. It's a societal problem of all of us having constant access to what we want on our phones. Another person, every time I go to concerts, people are scrolling too, and we're in the nosebleeds. Another person said, this is supposed to be a problem. As another, it's the playoffs. Another person said, yeah, I'm a huge Beyonce fan and a soccer fan, if it's continued. I also wouldn't do it at her concert, but come on, LOL. Sometimes if it's an important game, it's hard to resist having it on in the background or whatever you're busy with. And I'm gonna tell y'all another story. So when I'm working the Knicks, or if I'm working any kind of game at the Garden in the 200s, if you actually have like the first row in the 200 section, there are little screens that are at the bottom row where you can actually have the live game on, where you're actually watching the game. It could be a Knicks game, Rangers game, whatever the case is. But also, if you're trying to really look and see all the shots because it feels so far away, even though it's kind of not. But if you want to experience like actually having it on the screens, you can have it on the screen. But I have seen people who are watching a Knicks game and will flip the TV onto a football game or a baseball game and that sort of thing. When I was working one of the Mets games and they had like the watch party at the Garden that I couldn't make it to because I was scheduled for that, but something happened. So I wasn't able to make that. So I was working the Mets game, and I was watching this guy on the train who also had like the game on their phone. So people are multitasking. People they want to know the score. They want to know what's going on. They want to be able to be in the moment because it's like, yeah, I could watch Beyonce. I can get my life with Beyonce, but also I need to know what's going on with this game because this is something that's important right now. This is like the Knicks, like I said before, the Knicks have not gotten this far since like 25 years ago, 1999. So why can't people have these things? And I get it. I do agree that there are situations now where people are just rude as hell in regards of like decorum. So you're seeing people who actually have this is the thing I don't get. There are people like, okay, concert, I'm like, okay, you can kind of glance or whatever, and I don't think it's really a distraction if you don't have it in somebody's eye view or whatever. But what irritates me also are people who are on their phones who go to the movies. What's the point of you spending money to go to the movie? Are you just going for the AC? What, you ain't got one in your apartment? Because or just year round or in general, I don't understand people who go and they spend money to go to a movie or even a Broadway play. Like the Broadway play, I can understand is rude as hell because that's live, and you got to be quiet with that. Concerts, you kind of get away with it because it's loud, people screaming, there's music, so there's all these distractions that's around, and people I don't think are really laser focused on that. But if you're in a situation where it's like a Broadway play, where it's like, yeah, there's like there's distracting stuff around because it's live, or a movie where people are trying to enjoy the movie and you were sitting there playing Candy Crush, or whatever, like that shit can wait until the movie's over. So I don't understand people that do that. But in this situation, it's like, yeah, this is an important situation. I live for Beyonce. I know Beyonce is doing all the things out here regarding the tour. She got, the manager, Blue Ivy, out here just stealing every scene that she's in when she get on the stage. And I know they want you to be in the moment. But here's the thing. Beyonce's not Jesus and she don't walk on water. So let the people have their fun. And if they want to waste their money going to a thing, I don't even know if she paid for a ticket. Maybe she went on, with a friend who had the suite and all this other stuff. But then again, Selena got her own money. She a billionaire. She don't need nobody to pay for her to get a suite. She could pay out her own damn pocket. Just like that shade she threw, and yeah, I caught it, sis, at Hailey Bieber, to my I'm still here with the rare beauty. Because Hailey Bieber apparently sold her company for $1 billion, which I did hear that story was gonna be breaking soon, but then it actually became confirmed. So there you have it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that people are overreacting in the situation, or are you feeling like, I guess how I feel? I feel like this is an exception because it's like it was the playoffs. Now the Knicks lost. The Pacers are moving on to the finals. We'll see, how that all works out. But yeah, the Knicks, y'all had a good run. Y'all played a good game. Here's to a new, I'm looking forward to you guys coming back stronger than ever next season and that sort of thing. Y'all need stronger shooters on y'all team. Y'all really do. I'm still mad over the fact that they traded DiVincenzo. I'm still mad over that because I feel like y'all should have kept Dante. And because he was like one of the best shooters, he was like one of my favorites. And I'm still mad that y'all traded him. And then it's like with this season, everybody's like, yeah, Deuce McBride is supposed to be the one that's supposed to be the shooter. But every time y'all go Deuce, and then he do that 3-point shot and he lose, I mean, or not lose, but he misses. I be tight at y'all. It's like, see, every time y'all do that, he be missing. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So, child, look at me being all butch with my basketball talk. Okay, so you said June is a dead. Don't even talk to me about June. Madison Square Garden is gonna be horrible this month. Over there, I'm only doing 3 events, but I'll be in other places. Like I'm doing the Lil Wayne show on Friday, and there's 2 other shows that's supposed to be happening. But yeah, it's pretty dead this month. But there's other events going on, so I'll be good. July is gonna be crazy because it's like we got Kesha. There's other groups. I mean, and with the Scissors, there's a lot of people that's going to be performing in July. So July is going to be hella busy. Oh yeah, and then Post Malone's concert is this Wednesday, so I'm working that. Him with Jelly Roll. So I'll be doing that show, and then Blackpink comes next month. I'm only doing one of their shows. I was like, should I do both shows or just one? I feel like one is enough. I don't mind, and ATEEZ is coming back to City Field. I actually like the K-pop because the fans are pretty cool. So I don't mind working the K-pop shows, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to do 2 days of Blackpink. I'm like, once is enough. You said billionaire Hailey, she's the breadwinner now. Oh, that's what I thought with Hailey. That I was like, okay, sis, you the breadwinner now. Hold on a second. Let me see. Cause I was like, yeah, because I was like, yeah, Hailey Bieber is definitely the breadwinner now. We all knew that was going to be coming. I mean, yeah, we all knew that was coming. Because the funny thing was, I thought the same thing after that story came out that she had sold the stuff. I was like, oh, so it looked like Hailey Bieber got more money than her husband. He didn't have to sell that music. Can we talk about Black Phone 2? Basically, I will say this. I definitely enjoyed the Black Phone 2 trailer. They dropped it last night. I like the poster. It's definitely giving a Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. I mean, I already heard that that was the direction they were going into because I believe they showed some footage or something at CinemaCon. But yeah, I was wondering. I mean, I liked the original movie. I've seen it twice and I've shown it to other people and they liked it as well because I loved it so much. I was like, this is a really good movie. And I was sitting there like, well, where could they possibly go with this? And since these Nightmare on Elm Street rights are, I guess, still the way of Friday the 13th, and we're probably not even going to ever get another A Nightmare on Elm Street. Why not kind of steal that story and kind of put it in this black phone world and then just keep that franchise going? Where it's just like, if he gets you in your dreams, he can get you in real life. So I kind of like that concept of like going after the kids, and they got the kid from the original movie that, that got snatched up by the grabber. He's coming back. So I kind of like that whole idea. So I'm really excited for the Black Phone too. Also, I don't know if y'all saw the new Megan 2 trailer, but yeah, I cannot wait for this movie. Although I was kind of pissed that I felt like y'all revealed way too much in the new trailer, but y'all already had me sold in the first one. Y'all went from Child's Play to freaking Terminator 2 between films. So I'm just like, I'm looking forward to seeing Megan 2, which comes out this month. Ballerina comes out this week. I need to go see Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. There's like so many great movies coming out, and so I'm pretty much excited. But yeah, the Black Phone 2, I saw that trailer. I definitely enjoyed it, and I like the new poster to Five Nights at Freddy's too. I just hope the movie's better than the first one because I was not really that excited over um Five Nights at Freddy's, the first one, but I watched it at home. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on Wednesday? Excuse me. My job said to be stuff with schedule thing, but whatever. Let's focus on the show. Sabrina is expected to release something soon. Could be a music video for a song that's already out or a whole brand new one. I feel like she needs to just do an extended album situation because if she's like going back on this short and sweet tour or whatever, that she needs to add some new music so that way the fans can, yeah, Pat McAfee, that moron. He was invited to MSG and he complained about the price of tickets. Yeah, we don't want his ass there. Because after you said what you said, it's like whatever. But look, you complain about the price of tickets. Regular people are putting up the money. You a whole celebrity and you bitching. So what are you talking about? And I've had conversations with some of the guys when I'm working in the 100 sections. They told me the amount of the price of the tickets they were putting down. I'm like, God bless you. Because I'm like, I would not. That's why I'm glad I worked there. Because they would say, oh yeah, I would put down like 1,200, and there was this guy that I get them from. Like they be telling me all this stuff. That's why I tell you, like when I have conversations with people and they be telling me their little secrets on how they get their stuff and the live experience. Like I'll be trying to tell y'all so y'all can be put on. So that way, I share the tea when it needs to be shared. But you sitting there complaining. But I'm like, if you was well, look. If Timothy Chalamet and them putting down that amount of money to sit courtside, why are you complaining? Like as a retired football player, I hope you saved your money. Kyrie said getting canceled was the best thing ever. Yeah, I'm glad that he said that because wasn't nobody checking for Kyrie long before he was talking about he was being canceled. Like we wasn't checking for him like that. There's a Golden Girls joke about Sophia attending a funeral while secretly listening to a game on her portable radio. Okay, that's true. That technology does change, but the people don't. Did you like the new Stranger Things teaser? What did they possibly tease? Like they basically just showed a collage of all the stuff that's happened in previous seasons, and then we saw that Zionist scream "run" or something, and that was it. Like that's all we got. The homosexual Zionist, as in what the hell is that boy name? Um, Will Byers, whatever his real name is, but whatever. And then there was like this little thing that Netflix did, and they were kind of like trying to get us interested in their shows. Where Lady Gaga performed 2 songs of Mayhem, and then Jenna Ortega came out was part of the show, and they played up the whole Addams Family theme, and that was cute or whatever. But they revealed that they're going to be revealing Stranger Things in 3 parts. The first part is in November, the second part is released on Christmas, and then the last part is New Year's Eve. At this point, with the long extended wait, do people care about Stranger Things anymore? Like, I don't know. I wasn't impressed because all it was like, okay, we see the groundbreaking, the military, and then the Zionist scream run. Like, okay. Like, I don't care. I need to see more. So I was kind of interested, but then I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I've seen better trailers. Sabrina already released a deluxe. Well, she needs to release a deluxe, a 2 times deluxe. It just could be a standalone single. That scream cringed me so bad. Twitter was making fun. Well, look, he ain't the greatest actor, so I could see why they was making fun of him. Releasing the 3 parts during the 3 biggest holidays of the year. I'm not sure casual watchers will make the time to watch it. Yeah, because it's gonna be the holidays. People gonna be busy doing stuff, and why so close to each other? But if that's what they want to do, okay. But I just feel like they've taken too long with Stranger Things. I just feel like for the most part, everybody done moved on. I feel like I moved on. Like, this is the thing that I've always said about these franchises. Um, or not necessarily franchise, but when it comes down to um these streaming services and how they do shows versus networks that do shows, it never makes sense to me how you can go on CBS, NBC, ABC, even the CW, and they'll put out shows 22 to 24 episodes in months. We've been spoiled in that way. But when it comes to network television, it takes y'all a year or 3 to give us just a 6 to 8 or a 10 episode season. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? So it never makes sense in my mind why it takes y'all so long to accumulate shows that are shorter versus network shows that can pump out 22 to 24 episodes in 6 months. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that kind of just always irritates me when it comes to these things. Like, why the hell did it take y'all so long to give us Stranger? When I don't even remember when the last episode for regular season aired. I feel like it was like 3 years ago. So whatever. All right, y'all. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about Cardi B, because Offset out here being a bitch, and Cardi had to go in a rant. Now, normally I'd be up in here being like, Cardi, stop posting your stuff on social media. Stop clapping back on social media. You always go to social media with the drama. But this time I'm like, sis, go off. Because she out here minding her business. She's out here making her money. She's out here taking care of her children, which Offset bitch ass ain't doing. And like I've always said before, whenever I looked at Offset, I said, he is the scrub TLC warned us all about. Somebody that thinks he's fine, but also known as a buster and broke. But I always find it weird that Cardi's estimated coin, like her net worth, it's estimated at between 80 to 100 million, and his is around 30 million. Where the hell did 30 million come from? Is that because he was attached to Cardi and Cardi helped him get that money? Because quiet as it's kept, yeah, he was a thing in Migos and all that other stuff, but nobody was really checking for him. I think mostly everybody was checking for Quavo. But until he got with Cardi, I do feel like, in the words of Beyonce, she upgraded him. And he benefited wholeheartedly from being in that relationship. And he thought because he was slinging community dick to her, that I guess at the time it was enough. And she put up with a lot of his mess while he was out here slinging his peen, community peen, as I said, to every Thomasina, Dickalina, and Harriet that he can come across. And I had to always find female versions of Tom, Dick, and Harry. So yeah, so she went on Twitter Spaces because now this heifer had the gumption, the nerve, the cheek, the absolute unlitigated gall to fix his mouth to even go and expect spousal support. Where they do that at? And I know some people gonna be like, well, turnabout's a fair game. That y'all wouldn't be doing it to the men. So you should be able to do it the other way around. I could understand it if it was warranted. However, No, I don't think he deserves a dime. And if this makes me come across as a hypocrite, because I feel like, oh well, y'all be going after the man, but if it was a woman and the woman makes more money, then it should be no. I just think that every situation is not the same. It depends on the situation. I always say, take things at a case by case basis. Don't take things at because and like painted with a broad brush, or it's got to be black and white and all this other stuff. I just feel like, yeah, every case should be taken in an individual situation. And in this situation, normally I'd be like, okay, now yeah, turnabout's a fair game. If the woman makes more money than the man, then the man should be able to accumulate whatever. And we'll see what happens with the same sex situation where it comes with David Geffen and his soon to be ex-husband, David, who I believe is challenging, trying to get more coin out of his billionaire husband with their whole situation. I don't think we talked about that on the show, but since it kind of plays into this, like it's kind of related in a way, I was like, let me just throw that in and pass it. So without further ado, let's get to what Miss Cardi B had to say in the Twitter Spaces. So yeah, let me find the video because I do have it in here. And then we'll come back and we will talk. Shout out to Hollywood Unlocked for the video, though. By the way, please hold.
Listen up, y'all listening? Listen up. The fact that I'm waking up right now, right? The fact that I'm waking up right now to see that this fuck nigga and his fuck ass team, I know it's not his team. I know it's his bitch ass. Gonna tell the Breakfast Club the only reason why this motherfucker asking for spousal support, because I was asking for everything. And because I don't be with my kids. Yo, you such a fucking pussy ass nigga. Word to my mother. I want you to die, but I want you to die fucking slow, nigga. When you die, nigga, I want you to die slow in the bed. And while you die, nigga, you gotta think of me. Let me tell y'all something, right? When I first filed for fucking child support, my lawyer filed for child support. I mean, when I first filed for divorce, my lawyer filed for shit. And this nigga started spazzing, right? So I told my lawyer, there's a renew, what's that shit called? There's a renew divorce paper, right? And in the renewed divorce paper, I asked for no child support. I didn't ask for no child support because I want to be done with this marriage. Like, I feel like I'm tied up. I asked for no child support. Kiari is allowed to see my kids. There is not one day that he's not allowed to see my kids. Okay?
I'm using the government.
He stood up my kids 3 times. He have seen Blossom only like 5 times. Okay? And I've been trying to save your face. But for you, stop playing saying that I don't be seeing my fucking kids. Stop playing because you don't want to look like a less of a bitch ass nigga. All right. If I keep you away from the kids, right? All right. You talk to the kids almost every single day. You call the kids every single day. I allow you to talk to the kids every single day. If I allow you to talk to the kids, why would I not allow you not to see the kids? It was a point that he was making a big deal like, oh, I'm not going to go to New York to see the kids because I'm not going to be seeing my kids in a hotel room. All right. I was like, all right, so you could see him in my mom's house. You still made it a big deal. And I love my daughter so much. Yo, if I'm lying, my kids could die if I'm lying. I said, you know what? To make it easier for you, you could see the kids in my house. Just because I want my daughter to feel the love of her dad. Because I want my kids to have that love of their dad. I want the love of both parents, even if we're not together. Also, the last time we seen the kids was in March on Cody's birthday. Okay? So before you start talking to me about I don't see my kids, let's talk about it. You haven't seen the kids since March. Okay? You say you was going to... Listen up, y'all listening?
All right. So yeah, just so y'all know, because if you want to definitely check that out, I will play the whole thing because I did find the other video. But It goes on for a good 10 minutes. And I'm like, child, we don't have time to be up in here all day listening to Cardi go on her little rant about bitch said. So I'll just fill y'all in on the rest. So basically what she said, because, and funny enough, I have to say shout out to her because, with this whole drama and everything going on, we actually found out the name of the baby. Shout out to Blossom. Whenever I hear Blossom, I think of Mayim Bialik and that old sitcom that used to come on NBC back in the day. So she got Culture Wave and now Blossom, who's 8 months. And so she said, and she went and spilled a whole lot of tea because she was like, well, now you out here talking about all this other mess. She talking about the amount of money that she actually spends on them kids while Offset is out here being a deadbeat and not putting up no coins. She said, my kids got their own driver. They pick them up from school, they drop them off, and they take them to gymnastics and boxing class. The kids' driver is on a retainer for $10,000 a month. And then she said, Culture School this year, you didn't pay for it. That's $45,000. Wave School is a year is $35,000, which you didn't help me pay for this year at all. The Grammy winner then said that her cousin babysits her kids for $3,000 a week, and Blossom's nanny runs her $500 a day. First of all, could I be Cardi cousin? Because bitch, if you paid me $3,000 to watch your kid, that's $12,000 a month. Oh, I be living the life. So, Culture and Wave also, she says, get tutors 4 times a week, each hour for $250, and each hour is $250. Count that up. Culture's piano class, that's $300 an hour, and she gets piano classes 3 times a week. So that's $900 a week. I'm not sure how much is gymnastics and Wave's boxing class, but I pay that too. Yeah, when she went and called him Kiari, I gagged. I'm like, girl, not the government. And they said that she basically said they were saying that he allegedly left her with that bill for a whole year amid their contentious divorce. Kiari, have I asked you for anything? Have I asked you for anything? I ain't never asked you for anything. Not a damn thing. Remember that from what Miss Seeley said to Mister? Not to be your sorry ass hand in marriage. Nothing. She ain't asked him for a thing. And that's what she's saying. Now, this half out here trying to take advantage of a situation. I was like, hold on, let me find a picture of, we put the kids up, because that's all 3 of them right there. I'm like, damn, Blossom got big. All the kids got big. Oh, wait, was that the 2? Because I think that was Cardi at the time with the 2 kids. But anyway, so she says she ain't asking for nothing. And mind you, this is not even including food. My kids have a personal chef that comes from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. that I pay for because people in my house don't have time to cook. Additionally, Cardi says she covers the cost of a full-time security staff to protect her children. Our daughter Culture constantly used to get threats, rape threats, death threats. So I have a security 24 hours in front of my house, which I pay as well. And you don't help me with none of it. That's crazy that y'all out here talking about assaulting children. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Elsewhere in Cardi's lengthy rant, she accused Offset of being an absentee father for their kid. She said Offset has been seen Blossom for like 5 times, and she was born in September 2024. I've been trying to save face. I said, you can see my kids in my house. I want my daughter to feel the love of her dad. Well, yeah, we read all that part. I mean, she said all that already. But it's like, yeah, I totally get it. It's like when you're a parent, you want your kids to be able to experience the love and all the other stuff. It's like, yeah, I may not like your ass because you a low down dirty dog. But what I actually want is that, even though we can't stand each other, I want to be able to have the kids experience still the love of their father. Their father can still come around. I'm not going to talk trash about you and all this other stuff. I basically want them to experience what they experience and still have it, even though I hate your guts and you still ain't getting none of this coochie. You lost out on that because when I was your being a doting wife and doing everything I needed to do for you, you wasn't appreciating it. And Cardi's at her breaking point where she's fed up with his stuff. She's tired of the mess. And a lot of you fuck ninjas be expecting somebody that's going to sit around and keep putting up with y'all ninja nonsense. And she said, I've had it officially, in the words of Detox from Drag Race. So in addition to that, the people jumped in the comments and said the following. So one person says, asking for spousal support after cheating a million times is diabolical. Another person said he's definitely the reason why the Migos broke up. Another person said Offset is Cardi B's baby mama. Another person said Die Slow is vintage New York. She real mad. Sad how this all turned out. Yeah, that's why I said, damn, when somebody wishes that you die real slow, ooh, that's like fighting words. That's like, girl, I'm done with you. Another person said he trying his best to break her with 3 kids, SMH, the weakest ish ever. Another person said, when someone says word to my mother, you know it's gonna get real, okay? Because when I be saying word to my mother, uh word on everything that I love in this world. If I ever say some shit like that, oh, you know it's a wrap. Because we all have our words that we say in New York. The cheat and request spousal support is insane. Then another person said, damn, I want to kill this ninja myself. Another person said the clown thought he had her locked down forever, so she kept effing around. So he kept effing around and expected her to stay, only just realizing Cardi helped his broke a life the whole damn time. Well, look, I've been saying it about him. Like I always said, like nobody was checking for Offset before Cardi. I wasn't checking for him like that. Like I told you, it was all about Quavo. Quavo was the standout of Migos. Him getting with Cardi was an upgrade. He wasn't sitting courtside at no damn Knicks game without Cardi B. Cause wasn't nobody checking for him. Damn, I was like, maybe I should bring that picture up of him and her at the thing where he looking like, you know, he about to go drive the car and kill Bill with a scarf around his head. Cause that's what he was giving with that look. Hold on, let me find that picture. So we could and it'll be quick, like 10 seconds. Cause I was like, just so for dramatic effect. Y'all can see this picture that I'm talking about that he was wearing at the Knicks game. Because I remember that's where I first saw them, and that's what I found out. I was like, okay, these two back together. And this is before y'all found out about it, because when he was there. You know, when you're getting used to new gadgets and buttons and things, it becomes a whole situation. Yeah, there go the photo. Looking like, you know, somebody like he about to go drive in the passenger side with the top down. Or probably in the driver's seat, about to go kill Bill with that damn scarf on his head with the shade. He looked like Boo Boo the Fool with that look, trying to get fashion, but the fashion is wearing him. So yeah, Cardi, you know it's unfortunate that you thought this man was gonna be the love of your life, that you thought that it was gonna be something amazing, epic, whatever the case was, by being married to Offset. But this is why you don't marry your F boys. You just let them sling the dingaling. Never get knocked up by him. Don't marry him. You thought you locked him down, but it's like the leopard ain't changed his spots. We all know he was a bum. And if he's worth $30 million, then why the hell do you need spousal support? Like, you don't need no money. You need to go off and do your own thing and figure out what you need to do with your life. But yeah, since Cardi done moved on, since she finally was, had her breaking point, since she finally channeled her inner Bernadine from waiting to exhale, burn all his clothes in the car, and the cop told her, like, you can't be burning stuff outside the house unless it's trash. She said it is trash. And so since she went and got rid of him, and finally she scrubbed him out of her life, and unfortunately, because y'all have kids together, y'all are bound for the rest of your life, unfortunately. That's always the worst part about when you heterosexuals get in relationships. I think in some of you gays too, unless y'all decide to be smart and be like, oh no, I'm gonna have my own kids. And if you happen to come into the relationship, okay, that's cute. But if we don't have no kids together and you have no kid, we don't have no kids together, then there's no ties in our situation. You go your way, I go mine. But unfortunately, she is bound by this man for the rest of her life. And if he's not gonna step up and do what he need to do as a man, and he hasn't been doing that, and she's been protecting him in a lot of ways until he keep trying to play with her, and now she got to get on social media and expose him for the bum he is. When you go down to the courthouse and you try to get that coin, what you need to do is be like, you know what, I got all the receipts, this is all of me paying for all of this stuff. He has not contributed money to any of the stuff that got to do with his children, their tuition, their little extracurricular activities, like the sport, when you said the boxing and the piano lessons, all this stuff. As long as you got the receipts showing that you've been paying all that money and he ain't give you nothing, then he gets nothing. So I don't think he has a chance of getting any kind of money out of her. He don't deserve nothing out of her. Not even her sorry ass hand in marriage. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regards to all this drama surrounding Cardi B and Offset. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Now let's move on. Let's talk about Andy Cohen because Leah McSweeney is out here spilling tea about Mr. Andrew Cohen. And she basically said that he basically has been using the Housewives to bully her on social media. So in 2024, the Real Housewives of New York City star claimed in a lawsuit that show boss Andrew Cohen had snorted booger sugar with other cast members and that producers pressured her to fall off the wagon. Now she claims in her court papers that he abused his power to direct or induce an army of Bravo stars to claim that McSweeney is a liar in the press. The papers filed in New York Supreme Court late Wednesday night claimed that in direct response to McSweeney's filing her suit, I think they meant to McSweeney's filing her suit. Huh? I think they meant to McSweeney filing her suit. I don't know why there's an apostrophe S in there. But anyway, look at me correcting page 6. Cohen either directly requested or induced current and former Real Housewives cast members to publicly disparage McSweeney's character and propensity for truthfulness to curry favor with Cohen in the hopes that such a favor will propel their entertainment careers. And I believe every word of it. The mentions more than 20 cast members by name, including Luann de Lesseps, Kyle Richards, Melissa Gorga, Candy Burris, and Dorinda Medley, who it claims were coaxed to slam McSweeney's claims in the media, including on TMZ, Page 6, and various podcasts and TV shows. It specifically alleges the ubiquitous Bravo celebrity Lisa Vanderpump appeared on The Talk and said, "I'm on Cohen's side." That Heather Dubrow for the Real Housewives of Orange County implied on her podcast that McSweeney should be thanking Bravo rather than suing Bravo because she is making money and thriving because of this platform, and said that she was irritated by her lawsuit. And then Margaret Josephs of the Real Housewives of New Jersey told Page 6 that McSweeney's claims are intended to do nothing but to assassinate Cohen's character, and that is disgusting. Well, my thing is, who are y'all to sit up here and disparage what Leah has gone through? Just because y'all trying to coax and kiss this man ass because apparently he holds y'all career in his hands, which I've always said Andy's got too much conflict of interest when it comes to, the Bravo thing. So while y'all sitting here thinking, oh yeah, he's no longer the EP of what's going on over at Bravo because he wanted to be talent, which he has none, quiet as it's kept. But you being a loud, messy fag, a loud, messy homosexual does not necessarily mean that that's a talent. Because it's not. Not for a middle-aged, mediocre-ass white man. You and that other Andy, and that Beavis Cooper. So I don't understand how y'all be thinking that y'all got this thing. Because it's like even y'all together on New Year's is like watching paint dry. I still go hard for my girl Kathy Griffin because Kathy Griffin was done dirty by y'all. And it just goes to show at the end of the day, it's a boys club. So I totally understand where Leah's coming from because I was watching an old interview and I didn't realize it was old, but I was watching yesterday, I was doing some work and I happened to come across this old interview that Kathy Griffin did back in 2024 when she was talking about this whole situation. On how the whole Trump head and all the other stuff and like what she endured dealing with Annie thinking that was her friend and how she definitely helped put Bravo on the map with My Life on the D-List because quiet as it's kept, wasn't nobody really checking for Bravo like that. I mean, yeah, the Housewives was what it was, but nobody was really like My Life on the D-List was the show that everybody was clamoring to long before everybody started getting, all acquainted with these housewife types. And so it makes perfect sense that you have a lot of these bottom feeders mentioned, like Melissa Gorga, Dorinda Medley, Candy Burris, Kyle Richards, Luann, and Margaret, excuse me, how they would all of a sudden immediately come to this man's defense. So now, in each case, the suit claims that the star would not have made this statement but for Cohen's direction and or inducement. The new filing is intended to bolster McSweeney's argument that the defendants retaliated against her for filing her suit. In May of 2024, Bravo and the other defendants filed a motion to dismiss her suit, and a judge heard oral arguments in the matter in November. In March, the judge dismissed parts of the suit, allowed her to proceed with other claims, and asked for more evidence on some others, including the retaliation claim. In Wednesday's court papers, McSweeney also attempted to shore up her claims Cohen has done booger sugar with some cast members and that he has given preferential treatment to those stars. Well, we kind of seen him do that. You may not have, like, if you pay attention to a lot of things, like, he got his favorites. He loves Lisa. He, like, until Nene filed her stuff, that was his favorite too. Kyle is his favorite. You know, she gives absolutely nothing on these recent seasons of the Housewives, most recently this season, but they keep bringing her ass back. So he has his favorite. Teresa Giudice, another one, even though she's not in the suit, but that's one of his faves. He's got his faves. We're well aware. And he talks about, oh, yeah, I text so-and-so, and I've had conversations personally. He's invited these people to his baby shower. Like, why are you inviting housewives? You're the boss. And this is why I know a lot of people don't like RuPaul and how cold and distant he could be between the Drag Race girls. But I would rather you do that because it doesn't want to show bias and favoritism versus what Andy's doing. And this is why I forget who it was. Who was it? Brandy Glanville that came out and said something against Andy that he FaceTimed to somebody he wanted to get in a three-way with her and another girl or something or another that was a housewife, and she went and posted that in her suit, I believe. And he was like, oh, it was in jest, it was being funny, huh? It's like, yeah, you're being too comfortable with these people. You are their boss. Why are you drunk calling up a housewife somehow how you want to do sexual things with them? And I guess probably because he's a homosexual, it doesn't count as sexual harassment. You don't think gays can sexually harass women too? It's possible. Just because you don't actually slide your pick. And child, I've heard T that Andy is not a gold star gay. I've heard T about that. I'll just say allegedly, just to protect myself. So now the new court paper claims that the move was also retaliation against McSweeney, and they note that not only have two unnamed cast members privately told her that he uses booger sugar, but the other cast member, Nene Leakes, has called him a booger sugar head. That former cast member, Danielle Staub, has said he does hugs, rhymes with hugs, and former Cohen pal Kathy Griffin has claimed that Cohen offered her booger sugar. Well, when Kathy Griffin mentioned this, first of all, I knew long before Kathy Griffin spilled that tea about Andy's alleged fascination with riding the white horse. I told you, I've had friends who have, black homosexual friends, because, Andy fetishizes dark, black men of color. Well, black men are of color. What am I talking about? Andy Cohen has a thing for black men. He won't get in a relationship with, he'll fuck you behind the scenes and won't claim you. But he'll clap them cheeks behind the scenes. And I have friends who have canoodled with him, and they have told me this. So I knew about his allegedly, I've heard about his love of the powder. So when Kathy Griffin spilled this, I was like, oh, girl, I knew. And so for him to sit up here and try to act like you don't, girl, we know about, your soul has been clocked, sir. Now, Cohen has strenuously denied all wrongdoing. Now, Gary Edelman, a lawyer for McSweeney, told Page Six the new filing buttresses her retaliation claim and that Leah looks forward to discovery and depositions, which she expects will be very revealing. I don't know why this man, they just don't settle at this point, because like I said, Andy, you have pretty much, you're messy, you're shady, and to me, I always feel like when people get on your bad side, you do hold a grudge. You did Kathy Griffin dirty, you've done a lot of women dirty, we've heard the stories. Bethany Frankel at one point was trying to do this whole reality reckoning. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know, maybe she got spooked and nervous, maybe she got a phone call and somebody was like, bitch, don't you even assert yourself in this situation because we will destroy you. So I feel like she kind of backed off of it a little bit. It just seems like, to me, the only one that's really out here still going hard is Leah. All the other ones that had their situation, Nene done dropped her suit because she's trying to get back in the good graces of NBC, I guess, because quiet as it's kept, nobody's really watching her talk show. The only time it got some kind of buzz was when that whole drama with her and Tamar, when Tamar was out here and said what she said about Candy, and then Big Back Cadillac and all that other drama. So that was the only time that I feel like her show went viral. But overall, She's not a really good talk show host, which makes me perfect sense as to why I'm like, I can see why Deborah Mercury passed on her regular talk show. Because, girl, yeah, you got the gift of gab. Yeah, you're entertaining. Yeah, you make good TV. But as far as like talk show, that's a whole nother beast. And knowing how to engage with people, listening when people talk, because most about talk is about listening. It's not about you getting your word in. Or if you want to ask a question, you got to know how to answer in a way where it's like, I'm not literally reading off a cue card, word for word, which kind of also bothers me with the ladies of The View, because they do that too. I was like, girl, can y'all not just be so on the nose with the questions on the cue card? Like, glance at it, flip it and reverse it in your own way, bring a little personality to it so don't feel like you just reading some question that some damn producer came up with and make it so damn obvious and disingenuous. But that's just me. You know, I just be nitpicking. But look, my issue with Andy is that he doesn't understand how to separate being a boss or being friends with people that he employs. When he had, remember I said before, when he had the baby shower for one of the children, I don't know if he's had multiple baby showers or I remember one of the baby showers that he invited majority, like a lot of the housewives. Lisa Rinna, all of them was there. And to me, it just plays in like, yeah, I get like, okay, if it's like a work thing and we all together and if it's BravoCon, I understand that. But if it's something personal, I don't know if I want a bunch of TV people at my stuff. Like, you don't have no friends outside of Andy Cohen and Sarah Jessica, I mean, Anderson Cooper and Sarah Jessica Parker, who was out here looking like strawberry shortcake in that recent episode of And Just Like That with that stupid little hat that she had on her head. Who's dressing them over there? Can y'all bring Patricia Field back, please? And look, I already said all I need to say about the alleged booger sugar claims. So I'm gonna just leave it where it's at. Now, also, all the housewives that was mentioned, aren't they notorious for sucking up to Andy? Kyle has offered nothing to RHOBH for years. Yet it baffles me how she's still on the show when she don't even allow the show to dive deep into her messy marriage to Mauricio or the alleged scissor sister relationship she got with Morgan Wade. Dorinda's still hoping that break from Bravo will be over, hence why I guess she was going hard at the time. But yet we haven't seen her on our TV screen since they killed her ass off the Traders. Melissa Gorga, uninterested ass, is hoping and praying that she'll still have a gig once they decide to reboot Real Housewives of New Jersey. But I just feel like that ain't happening. So find something else to do. And good thing, Candy out here producing Othello, because outside them overpriced ass Broadway tickets, she ain't that interested in reality TV. I mean, she was cute being a part of the Housewives and us digging into her life and the businesses and all this stuff. But whenever she tried to spin off shows on her own, nobody cared. Nobody cared about the old lady gang. We still didn't get a season 2 of that. She tried to spin off and do all these other things. So we don't care about Candy. I mean, I like Candy and kudos to her for her hustle. But outside of her trying to do her own thing, nobody cares. And don't even get me started on Miss Vandercunt, who, why I say she do make good TV and all that other stuff. Her always sucking up to Annie and stuff. I was like, girl, go play in traffic. Because I heard how messy she be too. Because I'm trying to remember, there was something or another. Damn, I can't remember the story where somebody was like, oh, I remember who it was. It was the producer that worked behind the scenes. And I think he worked at Vanderpump Rules, the one that does adult stuff. That came out and was talking about all the drama behind the scenes of Bravo and all the stuff he was going through. It says that he's happier doing adult cinematography full time and being an adult film star than being a producer on these shows where they put y'all through hell trying to get these shots and trying to get y'all some good TV, and talked about how manipulative and shady Lisa can be when she's trying to fish for information and do all these other things that she be doing, and how she falls more on the side of Bravo than actually having the back of the people that work for her. Because I guess that TV relevancy is more of the bottom line. It helps sell the businesses that she has. And ain't nobody out here checking for Heather Lowbrow Dubrow. So good luck to you, Leah. I'll definitely be keeping abreast of the story as it develops, but I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what Leah McSweeney had to say about Andy Cohen and her latest lawsuit? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, y'all. So now let's get into another Bravo story. So Ariana Biermann, not Ariana Grande, she wishes, but Ariana Biermann, is the adopted child because he fully, Kroy adopted her and her sister Brielle, because those are not his children. Do you even know who their daddy is, by the way? But anyway, I think Ariana's on that new show, Next Gen NYC, I think is what it's called, with speaking of Candy, her daughter Riley is on the show. Teresa's daughter Gia is on the show. It's about a bunch of damn Nepo babies are on this damn show. But anyway, so I believe Ariana is also on there. And she basically is revealing that, yeah, her relationship with her stepfather, Kroy, is non-existent, because I think since her and her mother, or him and her mother, Kim, are going through their messy situation, that their relationship is just hasn't been the same. So she's getting real about the rift between her mom, Kim Zolciak, and her adopted father amid their messy divorce. Ariana revealed that her new relationship with Kroy has suffered as a result, with the 23-year-old telling Us Weekly in a new interview that the pair are not nearly as close as they once were. Kim and Kroy, who walked down the aisle in 2011, share 4 biological children. That would be KJ Jr., that's Kroy Jr., by the way. Then we have Cash, who's 12, 11-year-old twins Kaya and Kane. And Kroy, as you know, as I said before, adopted her daughters, 28-year-old Brielle and Ariana, from previous relationships, saying, quote, growing up, he was really my best friend, more than my mom was for a while. While Ariana was trying to still maintain a relationship with her dad, the road is rocky. Saying, we're definitely not as close as we used to be, and I don't really talk to him very often just because of this tough situation that we're in. But I really do try to keep the divorce and my relationship with him and my mom separate. It does get hard at times. The drama between Kim and Kroy started in May of 2023 when they filed for divorce after over a decade of marriage. A brief reconciliation fizzled out, and Kroy filed in August of 2023, declaring their marriage irretrievably broken. Now, Kim spoke to 2Fab in July of 2024 about her divorce from Kroy amid her stint on The Surreal Life, calling it the perfect break to regroup and process what had been going on at home. Saying, quote, I needed to step away to gain some clarity and to kind of refocus on myself and step outside of this home and kind of just regroup, if you will. Zolciak said, it wasn't easy for sure. It was hard to be away from my children, and there were things going on that I had to deal with throughout the entire process of filming, which was stressful in itself, but I was able to kind of remove myself pretty quickly from, conversations with my attorney to get right back to it. These people made it super easy for me. It was almost like one big party there. It was just so much fun. It was great break for me. And also, I'm sure it was a good coin for you to be making as well, because you got paid to do the show. And then still spread those alleged rumors that you was out here messing with Chet Hanks. Now, they also went and said that Kroy and I don't know what the future holds, honestly. I don't have the answer at this time, so we'll see. We've been together a long time. It's hard. It's definitely hard. It's hard on the kids. It's hard on us. Well, look, I feel for the kids in a way, because, yeah, it's like when there's divorce, I don't know what that's like because my parents are still together. So I don't know what it's like to be a product of divorce, but I can only imagine that it's hard for kids whenever they have to deal with this situation, especially when Ariana didn't really have that father figure in her biological father. So she found that in Kroy. And I'm sure that Kroy did all he needed to do to step up to be the man that he was. But when you marry to somebody like a Kim, I could totally understand why you would want to rip your hair out by the root. This woman comes across like she is just high maintenance and insufferable to deal with. So it takes two to tango. He made his bed. He got to lie in it. Unfortunately, you got to be caught in the middle, because now he's looking at it as like, yeah, out of sheer love that I have for your mother, I adopted you and your sister because I see you as my own kids. But now, because I can't stand the sight of this broad, now it's hard for me to kind of have that relationship with you, because, yeah, you're caught in a rock and a hard place. So it's like, I would want to maintain a relationship with those girls, but you're adults. You come with her. You're a package deal. You come with Kim. You are not my biological children. No shade, but I'm just saying. And I don't want to have to deal with all the other extra baggage that comes with that, because it's like, I don't know if we can't have that same relationship that we once did, because it's like you could be confiding in her about things. Like, I don't know if I could trust, and it's hard, it's sad to feel that way, that it's like, yeah, because you come, you were here before I was even with your mother. I don't know if I could trust you in a situation where I would want to maintain that relationship, because it's like, I don't know where your loyalty lies. And like she did say that I could separate the situation that y'all got going on with my relationship with you. And it'd be nice in a perfect world you could think that way. But when you've had somebody that has driven you up the wall and pretty much clean your ass out financially because of her alleged gambling problems and all the other baggage that Kim comes with, it's hard to kind of see the forest for the trees. So I totally get where Kroy's coming from. I also get where Ariana is coming from. So I feel for her in this situation. But I think I am kind of curious to check out this new show, though, this Next Gen NYC that I believe comes on this week, because it features, as I said, Riley Burris, Gia Judice, Brooks Marks, and newcomers Ava Dash, Amira Despain, who I believe is the trans model, Shy Fruchter, Georgia McCann, sorry, Hudson McElroy, and Charlie Zakora. I don't know who half these damn people are, but it'll be interesting to see how all this turns out. I'm sure it'll probably be entertaining, but I'll definitely check it out when it comes out. Ariana did say this. She said, I think it was a really incredible opportunity for us to showcase more of who we are outside of our moms and do our own thing. The show follows us as we're living our lives in New York. So yeah, it comes out actually tomorrow, which is June 3rd. So, and then but that's on Bravo. But if you want to see it on Wednesdays, it'll be on the next day on Peacock if you have that. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Ariana saying that, yeah, unfortunately, because of father's relationship, messy relationship with her mother, Kim Zolciak, that, you know, they don't have the relationship that they once had. So yeah, and it's unfortunate that their relationship is what it is. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Yeah, Heather Lowbrow. That's what, I don't know. That just came to me when I said that. It's a Hawaii prodigy. Mm. Breaking news: Mariah Carey announced what's your type single in her upcoming. Well, actually, I meant to mention that earlier. I saw that Grape Juice posted something about that. Mariah does have new music coming. Um, we'll see if it's good, because Mariah hasn't really delivered anything original and worth listening to in a long time. So I'm definitely curious to hear the new Mariah music. But I know she's been at work. I mean, she's been hard at work and making music for a long time. So we'll check it out. But yeah, I do agree. Janet Madonna was good. This is why nannies exist. Because it's like, yeah, Madonna's out here, doing her little videos with her band, hanging out with the kids, all this other stuff. But yeah, Madonna, what's going on with this new album with you and Stuart Price? I need y'all to get to work. Like, let's go. And Janet, child, she a lost cause. We ain't waiting for Black Diamond. We done moved on. All that money and advantages, and they still stuck in reality. It's only a matter of time till the children turn on. Look, I wouldn't be surprised they have already, but it's like, yeah, who could deal with um like, to me, Kim Zolciak is so insufferable. I would literally have to find the nearest cliff and jump if I was ever in a relationship. Like, that woman just she makes my teeth itch. Like, she works my root canal nerve. I just can't deal. Like, she annoys the dog fuck out of me. She really does. I mean, you make good TV, but I could just not imagine anybody wanting to be in a relationship with her. Like, you just be doing too much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, y'all, let's move on and let's talk about Miss Patti LuPone. So apparently y'all already know this. Well, I don't know. If y'all probably heard by now, but if you haven't, let me fill y'all in. So a lot has happened in the past couple of days that I've been away. I've only been 3 days, but I did a whole video where it was like Patti LuPone was talking in the New Yorker. Where she went in and was just basically just spilling tea on everybody. She went on her ex, Kevin Kline. She went and made a little snide comment about Glenn Close. But then what really got everybody's noodle boiling was the fact that she made disparaging comments about Keisha Lewis, calling her a bitch, and then trying to compare careers. So I've been in like 30 blah, 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 shows, and you've only done like, I don't remember how many she did, but Keisha Lewis, I believe, has done 10. Patti has done 29. And what I don't understand is, like, I can totally understand it, because the Karens be Karening. And I feel like when your white folks got your little Rachel blind spots, and you don't seem to understand that, yeah, Black artists or people of color in general are not afforded the same opportunities that a lot of you white artists are able to get. Patti LuPone, being a white woman in America, benefits wholeheartedly from getting to be number one on the call sheet when it comes to being in the theater. Hence why it's vitally important that when you hear these stories about Audra McDonald being one of the most awarded and one of the most nominated Black women on Broadway, why that's being celebrated. But Patti out here making these little comments, and it's like, all that is uncalled for and unnecessary. But, so after that, then what had happened was, so she went in, people was dragging her, people was not liking it. Then more than 500 members of the Broadway community signed an open letter reprimanding LuPone, who's 76, by the way, over her recent comments about Audra McDonald and Hell's Kitchen star Keisha Lewis, well, both in their 50s, by the way, in the New Yorker profile. So after all of this, Miss Patti LuPone, after all that dragation, and I do feel like the only reason why she came out and said something was because, she became open letter. I feel like that's really got her to say, oh no, they serious about this. I've been able for so long to be able to be a Karen and get away with all the things that I say. And now y'all out here trying to come for me. So yeah, now she decided to reveal this open letter and said the following. She said, hold on, let me scroll down to it so I can read it better. She said, for as long as I've worked in the theater, I have spoken my mind and never apologized. That is changing today. I am deeply sorry for the words I've used during the New Yorker interview, particularly about Keisha Lewis, which were demeaning and disrespectful. I regret my flippant and emotional responses during this interview, which were inappropriate, and I am devastated that my behavior has offended others and have run counter to what we hold dear in this community. I hope to have the chance to speak to Audra and Keisha personally to offer my sincere apologies. Well, sis, you should have did all of this before you decided to run off with your damn mouth in this interview. But the thing is, she is known as somebody who is very much a firecracker, someone who speaks her mind, someone who said a lot of real nasty things over the years. The disrespect towards Madonna, her acting ability, because you still mad over the fact that she got a Vita on the big screen and you didn't, and even got an original song out of the situation. You Must Love Me. And she's still mad over that. She mad over Glenn Close doing Sunset Boulevard. So this woman holds grudges and decided to air it all out in this interview. And now that she realizing that a lot of her behavior is not going to be standing, people are not going to stand for her behavior. Now she want to backpedal and now she want to apologize. I feel like this is a crock of shit. But if y'all want to sit and accept it, then by all means, do that. But I'm not buying it. Sorry. Now, like a leopard at her age, don't change the spots. But I understand you got to save face because her ass want to show up at the Tonys, which I'm trying to wonder, when does the Tonys air? Is it this month or next month? I think they usually air in the summertime. So I think the Tonys is this month or possibly July. I don't know off the top of my head. But then she went on to say, I wholeheartedly agree with everything that was written in the open letter shared yesterday. From middle school drama clubs to professional status, theater has always been about lifting each other up and welcoming those who feel they don't belong anywhere else. I made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, girl, but okay. I take full responsibility for it and I'm committed to making this right. Our entire theater community deserves better. Yes, they do. And I've heard, even around this time that there have been many people in the theater world who were of color, whether they're I don't even think they were like big names, but there were people who said that I left Broadway because of the amount of racism that I had to deal with. There was one video that I posted of a TikToker, he's an Asian guy, and damn, I wish I would have had that for y'all to actually hear what he had to say. But I think I reposted it on my TikTok, and I also posted it, like I downloaded and uploaded it to my Facebook. So if you want to check it out, you can definitely check it out there. But for the most part, it just felt like, there's a lot of people who deal with it, and I'm glad that there are people who are of color that have this passion, this dream to be on Broadway, or just love the world of the theater. We're out here, and because of what Petti said, that they felt the need to speak out and tell their side of the story, and rightfully so. So, um, posted, the prior one, because it is on my social media if you want to check it out. I posted on my TikTok, my Instagram, even YouTube in a separate little short. That Audra McDonald did speak out because there was a video, a clip that was going around. I think the interview actually airs tomorrow in full, where um Gayle King interviews Audra McDonald and asks her about the recent drama that was going on between her and Petti. And she said, I ain't seen that woman in over a decade. I don't know what her issue is with me. Like, I really don't know. And I know a lot of people are feeling it's a diplomatic situation. Maybe it was her being all Michelle Obama about it. She decided to take the high road and she didn't really go in and let have on Petti. She was like, you need to go ask her what her issue is. Because she really didn't say what it was. She was like, oh, what a beautiful day. I don't know what that means, but it just implied that basically you got beef with Audra. So we want to know what the situation is. And then got mad because Audra went and came to Keisha's defense. And then there was some people that was acting so damn obtuse. This is why I can't when y'all be like, if you gonna act intentionally obtuse, don't post on social media. Because there was one person that was like, I really don't understand like why people are all upset because it was like she went and all she did was complain about the cues and everything was too loud. I was like, okay, now if you're not black, if somebody's referring to something as, oh, they're too loud and this and this. You should have taken upon yourself to call these people and be like, your stuff is too loud. You need to turn this down. Like, let the people that work behind the scenes handle that. And I heard that they did kind of change up their cues or whatever because it was bleeding into the other thing. But maybe the conversation should be had of, why aren't these old buildings that y'all do these shows in, why aren't the walls insulated? Why aren't y'all preventing like from the sounds from other theaters coming into this theater because of these situations? They need to rejudge the theaters. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of these buildings don't want to do that because they don't want to shut down and lose money. So why bring in repairs? When you look at a lot of the chairs, the setup and stuff, a lot of that stuff is old. And you already know, like, I guess people were a certain size when these buildings were first renovated. But everybody now got secretarial spread. There's a lot of people out here with wide asses. They uncomfortable. The knees be hurting because the chair's too close to the whole situation. So people are built different. People are living longer. But they're not willing to put in that money to rejudge these buildings and the seats and the whole setup. So yeah, it wasn't even just them. It was like the open letter was addressed to the American Theater Wing, the Broadway League, and the Greater Theater Company, describing LuPone's comments as a blatant act of racialized disrespect and that constitutes bullying and harassment, and called on the groups to disinvite LuPone from the Tonys. Oh, so it is this week. It's next Sunday, actually, June 8th. That's when the Tonys. Well, I was already gonna watch the Tonys, but I'll definitely be tuning in now. So yeah, so hopefully this all works out. And Patti, you could have saved yourself a whole situation by actually reaching out in general to find out what was going on instead of you getting on social media and doing this whole interview where you just felt that you was fruitful and fancy free, that you could just say whatever the hell you want without any consequence. And in a perfect world, that would be cute or whatever. But when you say things and how you say it and how it's addressed, especially when there's a disparity of racism and stuff that goes on in the industry, particularly in Hollywood. I know everybody wants to act like Hollywood is so liberal. On the outside, yes, it's very liberal, but it's conservative in a lot of ways as well. A lot of the people that work behind the scenes, a lot of these people that own these organizations, very much conservative. And there's a lot of red tape that are put in places for people who still, like in 2025, we're still having conversations about someone being the first this or the first that. Like, why are we still having these conversations? The first black this, the first woman this, the first gay this. I'm like, what? The first trans this, which is ridiculous in my opinion. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Patti LuPone's apology? Do y'all feel that it was sincere, genuine? Or do you feel like it's a crock of sugar honey iced tea? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. She apologized. Bitch, consider that stolen. Remember when RuPaul said that to Willem? Now, speaking of Drag Race, we do have that as our next topic. So before we get to our final two topics, because the show is about over, if y'all can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll definitely put in timestamps and stuff in the show, you know, all the good stuff. So that way, for those who watch the playback, could just go and skip to the topics at hand instead of being caught up in a lot of the, the banter that we do during the show. All that good stuff. All right. So now, without further ado, let's get into All Stars 10. So I'm sure y'all probably noticed it's been a while since I've actually done a recap of All Stars or even just this season in general, because I just don't feel like the episodes have really been like worth talking about. I mean, it's like, okay, it's cute, I'm entertained, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But that recent episode, Cher, ooh, that was a lot of drama. And I was living for every bit of it. And I know everybody's going in on Mistress Isabel Brooks because of what her and Georges did to the girls over there on Drag Race. So, and here's the thing, I was living for Chapel Rome being on the show too. So, so now last week we got to meet bracket 2, which was what? Oh, and it was, so then we ended up with, as we said before, Lydia B. Collins, who now is no longer Butthole Collins, but we'll always call her Butthole. She wants to say she is Lydia Brooks Collins because apparently she was easily adopted and made Brooks because of Mistress and that sort of thing. And another Brooks by the name of, excuse me, Nicole Page Brooks, who I always said is my spirit animal. I'm living for her this season. She was like, that's not how the whole, mother-daughter thing works. Like, you can't just be out here adopting bitches. Because remember, you adopted Sugar and Spice during your season. And then in the episode, she was talking about how she fought with everybody on social media, including Sugar and Spice. So I don't know even where that relationship is at this point. I don't know if they're still, ace boom coons, or they're just about, they went about their ways. But I would be real careful if I wanted Mistress to be my adopted mother. But look, I'm here for the shenanigans. I'm here for the, it's good TV. But I know everybody was bent out of shape over the stunt. But we'll get into the stunt in a minute. So yeah, then we had Lydia Boho Collins and Tina Burner basically won their challenge, which of course had Mistress but hurt. So then we had the 4 queens who was safe, got back into the workroom. Mistress was showing her entire ass because she basically said that she had less points than Tina, and she didn't like the fact that she didn't win the challenge. But I'm like, girl, you basically was up there looking like an orange loofah in your lip sync outfit. And you was mad that you wasn't able to go, you was going to do whatever reveal that you had, and you didn't win the challenge. But quiet as it's kept, your outfit wasn't as much of a standout, in my opinion, as Tina, although that wig that Tina had on was too damn shiny. I'm like, what is that? Because that could not have been human hair. But that's what they chose. And I think they chose that because they wanted Mistress to be messy. And that's what we need to change her middle name to. Not Isabel. It need to be Mistress Messy Brooks. Because messy does not equate, it doesn't begin to describe how she was in the episode that just passed, which was, the roast. The rapper's roast. So yeah, now they got to sit and figure out how they're going to divvy up the votes and all this other stuff. So then Lydia and Tina into the room, and in the confessional, Georges, is jealous of the attention rules given Lydia, which I did throw a little joke, if y'all been following me on social media, about how Georges, why they show like her face and how, yeah, it seemed like Rue is more or less in favor of Lydia as her new little twink that she's obsessed over. It's like, well, Georges, you better set your pussy up in regards of like trying to wow the judges. You can't just be over here like, like that stupid little thing you do with your hands. It's getting a little old, especially when we've seen it back to back. So yeah, then Mistress tries to come in the room and tell the girls how the point system should be done. And then Nicole was gonna give her points to Carrie, which I kind of wish she would have stuck with. But then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna be a good sister, and I'm going to give you my point. And then Nicole gives, Nicole gives her point to Mistress, and then Carrie gives her point to George's. And then after that, which is why I would have been like, you should let Mistress go first. Then she got real pissed because Mistress decided to give her point to George's, and then George's gave her point to Mistress. So then, of course, you got Carrie gagging, and Nicole looked like she wanted to reach over that couch and strangle. Well, if she could find her neck under all that fat. She wanted to you wanted to get her hands around her Miss Mama's neck and strangle what was left, what little life that woman had up in her body. So everybody on social media was pissed. Like, I remember I was reading the comments, they were going in to the point that Mistress is even on the line still trolling. She said, if this is how mad y'all gonna get, don't watch the next episode. She did say that. I don't know how long ago she said it, but I did see the tweet. She was like, well, don't watch episode 3 if you mad about episode 2. And that's why I said, like, say what you want about MIB, and that's not the Man in Black. But one of the things I want out of reality television is bring the drama. Stop trying to be all diplomatic or worrying about pissing the fandom, getting mad at you, whatever the case is. Like, there's a reason why Mistress was invited to be a part of the villains roast, because she gives villain teas. Now look, after they filmed season 3 of House of Villains, then you could bring Mistress in to do season 4, because they got Plain Jane being a part of that season, and I'm like, I don't know, like, Plain don't be getting, like, I just don't see it for Plain, but I'm sure I will watch House of Villains because I like the show, and we'll see what she gives when she gets up there. But for the most part, I was like, yeah, season 4, if y'all do House of Villains, definitely get Mistress on the show. Look, she got a new body. The Ozempic is Ozempicing. So she'll definitely give you good TV. And look, it might be the first time. I feel like the one time she actually will win something, because I don't think she win a Drag Race. No shade. She's not winning this. I do believe that she will make it to the semifinals. I feel like, well, I already told y'all the T, the Georgia, we already know her make top 2. I do feel like Mistress will make it all the way to the semifinals, but do I think she will win the show? No, I don't. But I do feel like if you were to put her on House of Villains, she definitely could win that. So then after all that drama, now comes the rappers roast. Because since Lydia won the lip sync, she had to choose the order of the rap roast, which I think everybody was pretty much satisfied with who went in which order. So we had Tina Burner opened, and then we had Kerry Colby closed. Which I said when Kerry Colby got around to doing her rap verse, I'm like, sis, all that shit you said in the confessional when you was reading down the girl saying that basically Tina looked like a man in a wig and all this other stuff, you could have put all that in your rap verse. She was trying to be all diplomatic, and I think I was like chaperone. I was distracted by the ass, because that's all I looked at in the whole performance. But after, it's like, with all of that, I was just like, I was expecting a lot more out of her. But we'll get to who my favorites were. And I think it's probably predictable that who my favorites was, because I think like it kind of was obvious who was going to be the strongest ones. So anyway, while the girls are beating their face and getting ready to go out and do the whole, do their thing and get ready to perform the rappers roast and stuff, Chappella Rowana, who I like to call Chapel Rome, came into the room and came to visit the girls, in her wig cap and her face already beat. So she took one of the queen's wigs and put it on her head. This is not her actual wig, but the wig is serving though. So I was here for the look. And so, yeah, Chappella Rowana came in the room and, asked them what they're up to. And then and then I guess because this whole, look, I feel like this was way more entertaining than the whole Joella Katy Perry situation. Because if people didn't know, Lydia actually opened up for Chapel on her last tour. And what they were loving the fact was that she kind of did something. I don't know if there's been any other mainstream have done this. I can't think of any off the top of my head. If there has been some, let me know in the comments. But there's no opening act or major act that has allowed local queens to open for them on their tours. Like, I would see drag queens do that. Where I remember that, oh my God, I totally forgot her damn name. The one that picked up Um, remember during the season where she was like being a linebacker and and Ruth said dragon's not a contact sport? Mimi, I'm first. I don't know why her name didn't come to me. But I remember when I was at this Mimi I'm first thing where I was working like the meet and greet situation with a friend of mine. And Mimi I first had this little traveling situation going around, and with all the big names, so drag queens that she had that was performing on this gig that she had put together, she would pick a local queen to actually open in each city. Then it's like, okay, so that's different because it's like drag queens supporting drag queens, the locals and the mainstream and the rude girls. But when it's a celebrity, like a big A-list celebrity, I don't know anybody that's doing that. So yeah, then as I said it before, it's like Chapel then put on one of the Queen's wigs and then took a selfie before it was time to head out to the main stage. Then we basically had a story where I loved where Carrie opened up about her parents who don't pretty much accept her trans identity and how they find community in being a part of a house like the House of Colby, where her drag mother is the legendary and iconic Sasha Colby. And what comes with that is like, yeah, the one good thing I've always loved about us being a part of the Levitical community or as us being queers, because we are 2 days into Pride Month, is the fact that we create community when our families don't love and support us. We create our family, and that comes in whether you're a part of a house or you have a group of friends that you consider like family to you. We create family wherever we go. So that's always, in my opinion, the biggest perk about being a homosexual in this whole situation. So now we get to the main stage where we have Michelle, Ross, and Chappella Rowana. Which I will say this. I'm so over Ross Matthews. I just think he needs to sashay away. Can y'all just bring Law Roach? I'm sorry, I've been saying this for the longest, but I just feel like Law Roach and T.S. Madison need to be our permanent judges, rotating judges. I'm just not seeing it for Ross. We barely see Carson Kressley. I almost forgot that queen name. See, there's been so long since we've seen her. I'm kind of over Ross. I mean, I'm over Ross because Ross gives nothing as far as judging goes. Like y'all not even judging the girls. Although I did like the back and forth with Michelle and Chapel was made fun of Michelle saying she can't hear because during one of the raps she was like, I couldn't even understand what you were saying, and then Chapel was like, oh, I understood perfectly because maybe I can hear better, and it could be just like, yeah, Michelle's just old. She ain't that old. She in her damn 50s. So yeah, so we had Tina who went first. Tina was cute. Nicole did her thing, but I feel like if we could all go as far as to say that the two best raps came from Mistress Isabel Brooks and George's, which I saw. Shout out to Megami, who had to let everybody know on social media that she helped George's with her lyrics. And a lot of people say, yeah, we believe it because George's ain't that clever to come up with that. I think y'all trying to lump Georgia as being just like cute but stupid. Is that kind of like the energy that y'all feel that they get? But they did say for somebody so tiny, she do smoke a lot of weed. So maybe she burned away a lot of her brain cells. That's probably could be what it is. So yeah, the rap was cute. And here's what I had to say about the rap. I honestly feel like the rappers roast, this needs to be something that needs to be a permanent staple in the Drag Race franchise. Not only just for All Stars, but I feel like it needs to be equated with the reading challenge. It needs to be with like the snatch game. It needs to be a annual thing. We need to keep the rap roast going because you know what? And it also reminded me of, remember when they did during the Bianca Del Rio season, the Oh No She Better Don't challenge? I still love that challenge to this day. And Milk doing the whole, like, remember that stupid dance that she was doing? And so I actually like that whole situation. So that's what it reminded me of. But the rappers roast, I feel like it's way more entertaining than stupid. Oh yeah, I'm here to snatch the crown. Like if I hear one more queen talk about a crown, an imaginary crown she plan on snatching, and incorporating that in her lyrics, I'm gonna scream because it's like, can y'all be more original with that stupid ass line? Not because girl, nobody sees it for you. So stop putting that in your lyrics. All of you. No shade. Just saying. So yeah, I just think that I don't nothing else to add to the whole situation. So now they had to do the runway challenge. It was in the category basically was Little Shop of Horrors, and then you had the girls coming down in their floral inspired looks. A lot of people I was hearing was saying that Mistresses clearly look similar to a look that Ginger Minge wore in one of her challenges, where I don't know, it had like these little pink balls and it was green or whatever. So yeah, there was a lot of people saying that, yeah, and I even called it a bitch stole my look segment, where it was like, yeah, it definitely was giving like Ginger Minge has worn this outfit before, and then Mistress kind of like just saw the look and kind of upgraded it a little bit. So the critique started. And then Michelle said she enjoyed the performance, but said it was too wordy. Hence why I said before that Chapel said that she could probably hear the lyrics better, and she liked it. Ross loved her Tiger Lily runway look and how it's a tribute to her mother. And then that's when we got Tina revealing that her mother suffered from Alzheimer's and she was getting all choked up, and said that she, she's always been encouraging her to do her career in drag and all that other stuff. Then Chapel basically, excuse me, gave her flowers to Georges, basically said that her performance felt effortless. Michelle loved her lyrics, calling them smart. Yes, as I said before, because she had help writing them. The judges also loved her elevated Venus flytrap look. Chapel loved Nicole's lyrics, and Ross told her that basically she didn't try to rush anything. The judges totally understood her, and Michelle tells her she looked amazing during the roast, but had some critiques about her runway. Ross basically said that he loved Lydia's theatrical and fashionable runway look. Michelle basically told Miss Butthole that she looks nervous and put a lot of words into her rap. And yeah, it seemed like she lacked a little confidence. And Chapel said that she understood Lydia the best out of everyone, but maybe that was because maybe she was being a little biased towards Lydia because Lydia was her, open on her show. So maybe there was a sense of bias there with Chapel. But I don't know if I agree with her overall critique of her though. So I'm gonna go with them as well. It did definitely feel like Lydia wasn't 110% confident when she was up there performing. It did feel like she was giving, Brittany on, some medication trying to perform. So they said, and then they also, the judges basically told Mitchell she ate the challenge because it was like, yeah, the delivery, the acting, doing that thing, like everything that Mistress put into it, she sold it. She sold the rap. The confidence was there. She is a star. So everybody can hate all they want. It's like, it's TV. I don't get all wrapped up in all the drama and all this stuff. Like, I'm entertained by it. I love the shenanigans. I'm here for the shenanigans. People just take this stuff way too seriously. Just enjoy it. Watch it. Watch it. It's a TV show. And then the judges basically told Carrie it's no surprise her runway look was so exquisite. But Michelle said that there was nothing roasting in her roast. And it was like, that's true. It's like, yeah, Carrie will always serve a look. But you should have came and did what the challenge asks. And that's, if you're supposed to get up there and roast, don't roast in the confessional. Put it in your lyrics and put it in the song. So now, of course, so now we get down to our top two queens of the week. And it's none other than Mistress Isabel Brooks and Georges. And then, they performed to Hot to Go by Chaperone, although I do feel like y'all should have picked another song. I was not feeling the performance from either one of them, but Hot to Go. And it's probably because I've heard the songs. Excuse me. I've heard the song so much, I'm sick of hearing it. So, but for the most part, it's just like Hot to Go. The performance wasn't really serving as much. So, and I think Rue kind of knew it. So that's why she gave y'all that little pity half point situation where y'all had to split the point. So now y'all both have 4.5, as you can see with the chart, where Georges has 4.5, Kerry still has 0, Lydia has 3, Mistress has 4.5, Tina has 2, and Nicole has 0. And I feel like y'all still gonna probably have this situation going next week. Like they're like, and we saw at the end, Mistress is still trying to cook up this little plan that we keep it going, and still we don't give Kerry and we don't give Nicole any points. We still keep them at 0. So at this point, it could be like anybody's game at this point, because it's like, does Tina end up in the semifinals? Will Mistress end up in the semifinal? I mean, they have 4.5 points, so it could go either way. But if I was to really bet on my gut, I definitely could see that it's a possibility that Georges Lydia, and Mistress will end up in the semifinals. I would like to see Tina there. I hope that Tina can make it. Like any kind of miracle will happen where y'all will push Tina into the semifinals, because I do feel like people feel that, you know what, it was messy how Georges and Mistress slithered their way into a possibility of them getting into the semifinals because of the little stunt that they pulled. Do Mistress deserve to be there? She deserved it for this challenge, but the little stunt that you had to pull to get higher points, although messy and entertaining, do I feel like she's well deserved to be in where she is? Well, if you would have did what needed to be done in the first challenge, you could have won them points by your own accord. But for her being messy and getting the points the way she went about it, that's why I think people are feeling away. So with all that being said, I am definitely looking forward to seeing next week's episode, because that is the final episode of this bracket before we get to our final bracket, which would be with Ginger Minge and all of them. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the mess that these ladies are going to bring in the final episode of the second bracket. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Were you all entertained by that last episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, or y'all still windmilling hard on Mistress because of the stunt that she pulled? And I know people was really going in on her, and people going in on Georges. I don't know if they were going in on Georges as much, but I definitely saw like there was a lot of the girls that were going in on Mistress the most. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Love Sensation was one of Mistress's classic numbers, so I guess she was upset that she couldn't perform it at Roscoe. She said she told the producers, "Don't talk to me after." Yeah, because it was like that was a it definitely felt like a production um interference. Like y'all did that on purpose. Y'all knew to get under Mistress's skin. It definitely felt like also started the All Stars 2 comparisons, which is a big reach. But the first 10 minutes of this episode was more entertaining than the last two All Stars combined. Okay. That's why I said, like, I just didn't feel like this season was even worth talking about, because it wasn't really giving. But this episode, it was everything. And I know the fans was mad, but I'm like, at least y'all was entertained. Are you not entertained? In the words of, what the hell's his name? Maximus over there at I was gonna say gluteus maximus. That means ass. Russell Crowe in Gladiator. I'm glad he ate her. MIB, messy instigating bitch. You know what? They need to call her that. Or biatch. I found out the top two lip sync for the Crown song is definitely rigged for the chill. I can't with this show. The rigor mortis of it all. They said, any thoughts on Mogami writing Jordan's rap and roast? People are comparing to getting a designer to make your looks, but it sucks that she didn't write any of it and still won. Well, I hope she put something in it, because if Mogami sat there and wrote everything, you taking all the credit. But wait a minute, she had to come in and do something, because I don't think that they even knew all the girls was going to be there, because I forget where I heard it, but they said they didn't even, a lot of them, I think it was Mogami said they had an idea of like all the other girls that they were going to be performing with, but they didn't know, she didn't know about Lydia until like later on. But yeah, but then somebody also I saw wrote on social media, "Oh, you're not a real drag queen if somebody does your hair and your makeup and makes your outfits." And I'm like, who are you to determine who is a drag queen and who isn't? Like, there's a lot of queens who don't make their own clothes. Lady Bunny, yeah, she beats her face and puts her wigs on, but she don't make her clothes. I know Bianca Del Rio makes her clothes. There's a lot of queens out here who don't make their looks. And so I feel like if you're not a drag queen, you can't be out here saying what drag is, or that someone is not a drag because of all this. Rue don't do her own face. Rue don't put on her, do her hair. Rue doesn't come in with her outfits, but she is one of the most recognized drag queens on the planet. And also, speaking of which, I don't know if y'all seen, but Matt Cullen did an episode of his show, and he interviewed Coco Peru. Oh, that was a good one. Normally, when he tries to do the stuff about like the sex clubs and this, and like when he tries to get into that bag, it feels a little weird. I'm not really buying into that completely because it comes across a little weird when he's trying to do that whole thing. I prefer when he interviews like queens or he does like, he interviews trans girls and gets deep into their story. But when you try to go into that world, like the sex positive stuff, it's like, it's not working for me. But he interviewed Coco Peru and she was talking about everything. She talked about Drag Race and how some people was out here being like, oh, you're not a drag queen because you're not on Drag Race. I'm like, wait a minute. Coco been around for like 30 something odd years and you out here trying to tell somebody what a drag queen is and what a drag queen isn't, and how Bianca Del Rio had to go in and go in on her own fans because Coco was like, I was having a conversation, like me and Bianca were reading each other down on social media, and the fans decided to assert themselves in a conversation. I'm like, y'all must don't be around a lot of homosexuals. Y'all must don't be around a lot of drag queens. Y'all must don't be around a lot of people because roasting each other is a term of endearment. That shows we actually like you. Now, if we don't even acknowledge your presence, if we don't talk to you, you should be worried then. Not when we reading. The reading is our version of you my good sister, you my good Judy, we kikiing, we're friends. That's what roasting is. Roasting and gags. That means that we like you. If we don't acknowledge your ass, that's when, like I said, you should be worried. That means that, okay, this bitch don't see it for me. And we don't, I should say. I didn't like this lip sync either. After Midnight or Phenomenon. I would have preferred Phenomenon. I was like, not Hot to Go. Of all the songs, like that's something that they play a lot when I'm like working the Knicks game, and it's like, okay, we have to do the karaoke segment where it's like you get to vote on a song. We could do this. We'll do Hot to Go, Piano Man, or Umbrella by Rihanna. And then that's like your choices, but you gotta vote. It's like, no, Hot to Go was not the song that you'd have them lip sync to, because it's like, how do you perform that and make it entertaining for TV? I would have actually preferred Phenomenon. I mean, look, they knew how to work that song in a Megan movie, Megan 2. What was it? The first, wait, was it the first Megan or the second Megan they used that? I think they used that. Yeah, I think it was Megan 2.0, but then they also been using Britney Spears um, as one of the songs too. Wait, what? Are you saying? What's Amani? And all women must undergo sex testing. I hate how we got here. The bathroom issue wasn't this bad, but look, there was a whole situation where there was a trans man that was told to use a certain bathroom, and when they came out, they arrested them. I'm like, so y'all setting people up to get arrested now? Like, this is what we doing in this good old United States of America? I fear the season might run stale and boring once bracket 3 starts, but at least Acid Betty is there. Well, they're trying to probably get Acid Betty to show up in the semifinals so that you can have certain queens go up against each other. I love Coco to be a guest judge. I would like to see some of the old school queens. But look, after what Coco was saying about the show, especially when she was talking about how she was like, Root and Michelle, they're well aware that when y'all be talking about stuff that's too costumey and all this other stuff that y'all be saying on the show, y'all know damn well that's what drag is. But y'all, it's like y'all try to come in and try to redefine what drag is when y'all know the true essence of drag and those other stuff. But y'all be up here selling this false BS because it's for good TV. And the fact of the matter is you have these kids who are growing up watching Drag Race that have never actually stepped foot inside of a drag club or understand the art of drag, who believe that because of what they see on TV, this is what drag is. And I'm like, no, me personally, have been going to drag bars and supporting drag queens long before there was a Drag Race. So for y'all to sit up in here and say that this is what drag is, it's like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I would love for there to be a situation where, because she was also saying that she had this idea of doing a show similar to what Matt Cullen does. She said she pitched it to Logo, and they said, oh, they weren't interested in doing shows with Drag Race. I'm like, but y'all had Drag Race on your show for like how many seasons? But y'all not interested in doing drag stuff? I'm like, are y'all slow over there? And look at them now. All they do is show it's like literally Nick and Night 2.0 over there. They just showing old ass shows. I couldn't even tell you where the hell Logo was on my TV if you turned it on for me. And I had cable. But anyway. All right, y'all, let's get into our final topic and let's talk about some good news on the part of the celebrities, but not so good news about this current administration of Village Idiots. I was like, oh, I was going to say, where my picture at? Because I was looking for it. All right, I found it. All right, y'all. So now, the Trevor Project basically said today that it is at risk of losing $25 million in funding for its 988 suicide and crisis lifelines LGBTQ plus youth service specialized services. Excuse me. The list of signatories include Ariana Grande, Pedro Pascal, Daniel Radcliffe, Gabrielle Union Wade, Dwayne Wade, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dula Peep, Sabrina Carpenter, Cara Delevingne, Christina Aguilera, Troye Sivan, Sarah Paulson, Nathan Lane, Alan Cumming, Kelsey Ballerini, Tove Lo, Sophia Bush, because now she's in a relationship with a woman, Josh Hutcherson, who could sit on my face, Jonathan Van Ness, aka Gay Jesus, and many more across film, music, TV, sports, theater, comedy, fashion, culinary arts, and book publishing. The National Suicide Hotline Designated Act was signed into law in October of 2020 by the idiot in chief that we have now, Donald Trump. And he basically said this: I am deeply grateful to the influential voices in entertainment who are speaking out and reminding the public that suicide prevention is about people, not politics. This is what James Black, CEO of the Trevor Project, had to say. Quote, it is clinical best practice for highly trained counselors to provide competent care to high-risk communities, including LGBTQ plus youth and veterans. LGBTQ plus young people disproportionately experience rejection, stigma, and discrimination and are navigating a world that too often tells them they don't belong. We must send a louder message back. Millions of people are fighting for you to lead the happy, healthy lives you deserve. So I do have the full letter that I'm going to read in a second, but one of the things that was irritating me because I was reading a lot of the comments over there, Variety, over on Facebook, and it's like, I need y'all to go outside and touch some damn grass, because what they were saying was, well, if that's the case, why don't you celebrities put up some money then? If y'all was to sit up here and sign all this stuff, why don't y'all actually put up the money? Who says that these celebrities haven't donated to organizations like the Trevor Project? And how does it affect you? Like, unless you are a part of the LGBTQ plus community or you have a LGBTQ plus child, and some of you probably do and have rejected them because in the name of Jesus and your stupid little sky daddy church, mega church, or the other crap that you believe in, that's probably why y'all feeling the way that y'all feel. But it's like, this is the part that irritates me about a lot of y'all that be on social media. A lot of y'all think just because you have a social media platform means that you need to get y'all asses up in there and write something dumb in the damn comments. If it don't apply, let it fly. And if it's not affecting you in some sort of way, why do you care that a bunch of celebrities have signed a letter trying to prevent young people who are told that they don't belong in the world, especially if you're living in the Bible Belt? And the Bible Belt has found a way to, or a lot of these people that are in these mega churches are trying to blur the lines between church and state and asserting themselves in politics. And now we have situations where we've been hearing how a lot of the churches are trying, like we had, what was it? I can't remember the area that it was. There was something about, see, this is why I was like, I should have been paying attention, but it's just so much stuff that's coming out for this administration. There was something they recently signed a law, something in Texas, I think regarding trans people. There's, a lot of the churches, are starting to blur the lines and asserting themselves in politics now. So in like certain states, they're trying to, indoctrinate Trump Bibles in schools where they're rewriting a lot of the Bible, where they've got like Trump being some type of God that they worship. Now, a lot of people do actually believe this man was sent down from God, from the heavens, to save them or whatever. Like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. I could have sworn the Bible said, thou not bear false witness or worship false prophets and all that. So I could have sworn that was a part of the Bible. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm making it up. Like a lot of these people make things up to justify their own religious and political dogma. So I don't understand why y'all allow these things to bother you when it's like it's not your life that you have to worry about. There's a lot of kids out here where like, yeah, there's movies and TV shows and things where we want the opportunity to be to represent and show love and care and all the other stuff for people. But there are people out here who are in smaller towns, who are in red states that are suffering, that come from areas where they're being discriminated against, where they're being, attacked, especially trans women who are consistent, especially with trans women of color. There's a huge, you know, what is it? A bullseye on the back of trans women with all this rhetoric that everybody's been coming out to discriminate against them. So there's so much that's happening right now where a lot of queer people are feeling unsafe, especially going into Pride Month. Because I saw like it was a comment of somebody on social media was like, I love, being a homosexual and things of that nature, but am I the only one that feels uneasy? I heard like, I didn't get to go to Queen's Pride yesterday because I was working and stuff, but it was just like, with Queen's Pride and everything, I heard that everybody was having a good time, that it was like, it wasn't nothing too crazy going on. Maybe because, Queen's Pride has always been pretty intimate. And I run into a lot of my friends and stuff there, but it's more of an intimate setting. It's not like really out there or whatever, unless you go all the way your way out in Queens. One of my old jobs, I used to work with ACQC. They were like a huge sponsor of it. Aja was there performing yesterday and hosting. So shout out to her and shout out to all the queens, all friends of mine who was there. Apollonia Cruz, I heard was there. Yes, I saw your picture, girl. And there was a bunch of who was it? Oh, my friend Josie Monroe was there, but she's there every year. First of all, she got me shit faced drunk last year, so I was like, I can't do a round two with her. She supplied me so much liquor. I don't even know how the hell I got home, but yeah, I just feel like in this current administration, a lot of people are feeling uneasy and unsafe, and unless you're white, a male with a lot of money, you're the only ones that ain't got nothing to worry about in this, with this administration doing what's going on, because y'all are protected in so many ways. But queer people, black people, Latino people, fuck you, the ones that voted for Donald Trump, that is of the I will vote. But we don't care about y'all. Like, y'all can all be deported for all I care. So I don't want to hear y'all little crocodile tears, because y'all went and did what you did, suffer the consequences. But I do feel for the people that's going to get that stray on account of these people thinking that they voting for whiteness, but they don't. Them white folks don't see it for y'all. But so I hope that there's ways that we can get around the fact that this man is creating a whole bunch of federal atrocities and trying to take away money from people who definitely need it, cutting money for cancer research, cutting, Medicaid and Medicare, cutting food stamps. People need the SNAP programs. Like, they're cutting all the things that a lot of people are benefiting from, particularly in red states. So a lot of you people that continue to vote against your own interests, you're suffering too. And now, of course, y'all thinking they were just gonna come for the trans. Oh no, they're coming for everybody. So yeah, he's coming for the gays. Y'all are gonna be affected too, not just the trans people. So yeah, when y'all keep trying to discriminate against those people over there, just remember, when they're done with them, do not think or hesitate for 1 second that y'all not gonna that he's not gonna come after you as well. So I want to say who else signed it. So yeah, they had Alan Cumming, Alok, Amber Mark, Amrit Kapai. We had Ariana Grande. There's Benito Skinner, which I've heard that show overcompensating. Everybody's been talking about that. I need to check that show out. Bob the Drag Queen, Bobby Burke, Bronwyn Spinner. I believe she's a housewife. Carl Nassib, who's like an athlete who came out as a homosexual. Chris Appleton. Was he the one that was married to Lucas Gage? Colton Underwood. Connor Oberst. We have Daniel K. Isaac, who is like this Asian boy that I'm like, oh, he is so cute. I have a little thing for him. I have my crushes that y'all all don't know about besides Pedro Pascal. Like, he will always be my number one. But I have others. So then there's Daniel Radcliffe, which y'all can see in the photo, Darren Chris, David Archuleta, who I'm wondering that little video that Johnny Sibley put out from Sip or Spill, when it was there somebody that he interviewed that he hunched? I think a lot of people think that him and David Archuleta done fornicated. Well, if y'all did, now somebody leaked that sex tape. And Diplo out here being nasty. I see he mooned the camera the other day. I see a little butt. And then there was another picture where he had I think he had like a kilt on. And then it looked like the camera done stopped, the car stopped short. So then the camera went under and it showed him in like his little underwear. He out here thirst trapping, and I'm here for it. And then I said, Dula Pete, Dwayne Wade, Dylon Burnside, who I haven't heard that name in a minute. Remember he was on Pose. Um, who else? Dylan Mulvaney. I'm just saying like names I recognize. Estelle, Frankie Grande, Gus Kenworthy, not Heather Lowbrow Dubrow. So she was up in there too. Jamie Lee Curtis, Jake Shane, Jonathan Van Ness, Josh Hutcherson, Josie Tota. I remember her. Julia Michaels, Kelsey Ballerini, Margaret Cho, Margaret Josephs from the Housewives. Mo, remember her? Where'd she go? I mean, what happened to her? Natasha, Nathan Lane, Nina West, Orville Peck, Paulie Calafiore, who was with Cara Maria, but he also came out as he bisexual. Sarah Paulson, who was in a relationship with a woman. S.G. Lewis. We have Sophia Bush, Sutton Strack, Simone, Terry Dubrow, who is I guess with Heather. That's Heather's husband. Tuve Lowe, Troy Sivan, Vincent, Tyler Oakley. And those are the only names that I recognize. So yeah, that's it. And I'm here for it all. But we got to just continue to fight against the discrimination that we're getting in this current administration. We can't let this current administration win in this situation. We got to fight. We can't depend on other politicians to do their damn job on both sides. So we, the people, have always been the ones that had to stand up against discrimination and democracy. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this story because it is definitely important. I was lucky enough that I didn't have to deal with, taking my own life, coming up as a homosexual in the late 90s into the 2000s, because luckily enough, I had elder homosexuals and trans women. I did give a little shout out on my social medias in regards to them, where I was like, I want to give a shout out to all the elder homosexuals, and I did say it like that. I spelled it just like how I said it. And trans women who have been in and out of my life, who have helped me become the outspoken, unapologetic queer that I am today. And I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure that's not all how I said it. But it's just like, it just, I was lucky enough coming up in New York that I encountered people going down to the piers and encountering older people that actually looked out for me and kept me on the right track because they saw the potential and stuff and wanted to keep me out of trouble. Not necessarily mean I didn't get in no shenanigans, but we have our regular family and then we have our queer family that keeps us on the up and up and sees the potential and wants to keep us on the right track and do what we need to do as a people and don't want to get us caught out here in some mess. So luckily I had that in my life where I didn't have to do all the other stuff. So yeah, unfortunately there's a lot of people who aren't afforded the same opportunities that I've had. So hence why we need the Trevor Project and things of that nature. And I know Daniel Radcliffe has always been someone who has been a staunch supporter of the Trevor Project. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. They said they're also getting rid of Job Corps. Oh yeah, I heard about that. That it was like they got rid of Job Corps. My sister went to Job Corps, because she was bad. So at one point she went upstate. She went to Job Corps. She got herself together from it. So she benefited a lot from it. But it was like, yeah, they said like the kids came one morning. They told them like, yeah, Job Corps is done. They gotta pack their stuff. And then while some kids were back home to their families, there was some who unfortunately have nowhere to go. So it's like they're being left stranded. I told you this man was. I can't, because whenever I talk about the administration, my damn blood pressure goes. One of my friends went to Job Corps. Not a single major company brand has acknowledged Pride Month so far. We're really living in a conservative era. And this is why I always say, you know what? Screw them. Because I've been saying for the longest that Pride has always been a protest. People seem to forget that, yeah, when, they threw that first brick through the window, and then that was that week that went on with the Stonewall riots and Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, I almost forgot her damn name. Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera stood on the front lines and put themselves on, to that, when you unappreciative homosexuals went and just treated them like shit and still treat trans people like crap to this day. So I don't understand how we don't show respect to the highest regard for the many trans people and the effeminate queens and the drag queens who were out there fighting for y'all to have the ability to suck dick freely. And y'all don't give that same respect. Y'all just take it for granted. So y'all sit down here all, not you, but I'm just saying in general, just like people out here gagging on the fact of like, well, yeah, we got to give love to um the, Citibank and Starbucks and Shake Shack and all these other things. There are certain companies that are all about pride. I do believe that Shake Shack has always been a supporter of pride. So, there are some companies that are supporting, and there's some that are just, not acknowledging it. And it's like, okay, well, we see through y'all. So when the shit hits the fan and everything goes back to we're in a post-Trump era, and everything all is new again, and now it's safe to go and support the companies. I hope people remember this and be like, but where were y'all when we needed you? Now that everything is copacetic, now you want a piece of our stuff. We gotta teach these people like we teaching Tarjay. It's like, no, we cannot, we cannot be taken for granted. We're living through a severe backlash. Cisgents are taking their well, they can have it. Okay. I mean, you can have this colonized country because Squires and Campbell don't even belong to them. It belong to the Native Americans. Overcompensated isn't good to me, but I'm sure you will like it. There's also another similar show. Oh, I've heard about Adults. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I've heard mixed reviews on that. But I don't know. I feel like Overcompensated based off of like watching the interview with Benito Skinner and all this other stuff. It feels a little overhyped. Like I feel like I'm gonna go and watch it. I'm like, okay, this is typical mid-ass gay show. And because Benito is attractive, that they want to put all this energy into him. But I'm just like, we've seen better. Like I feel like it's gonna be one of those. Screambox and Scream Factory acknowledge Pride Month as I expected. Same with Shudder. Well, Shudder's always been queer friendly, especially with Dragula and all the other stuff. So, and they've always been, very supportive of queer content. So that's why I always fuck with um Scream, Shudder. I have to check Screambox. I've been meaning to get rid of Screambox. I just can't bring myself to divorce myself from that streaming service, but I'll have to check. All right, y'all. So okay, so it looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already for the umpteenth time and final time, or as I say, third and final time, because this will be the third time I did it. If you have not already, please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of the show, Lord willing, with some new team. And yeah, so I just like how I just feel like today's episode was like a good one. Like it was messy. The pictures was picturing. So now I'm gonna need less stress. Now I figured out how to, be playing around with the show literally 5 minutes before I was about to go live. I figured out how to make the show, just doing little things and trinkering and playing around. And sometimes, I just be so proud of myself when I just be discovering stuff without actually having to read the manual. I like just playing around with things instead of, oh, I just have to read this. Like, I don't like doing all that. I just like playing around with things. But anyway, love you all for watching. Thank you all for constantly supporting this show. Those who come into the live and comment and all that good stuff. And all the new people as well. Love you all and all that good stuff. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, ciao, darlings.